Church on the Game Changer Network.
All right. Well. Good evening. Fade to Black. Bespoke radio for the masses. Yeah. How you doing? Today's Monday, April 15th, 2019. 105 days into the new year, just 260 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere in the middle of beautiful downtown Burbank, California. And I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States. Hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the Planet. I am your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? How you doing? Got a big week lined up in front of us here on Fade to Black. Tonight, very special guest. This is our last installment of our four-part series on the Emeral Tablets with Billy Carson. Tonight, the Emeral Tablets and the Fractal Holographic Universe. Tomorrow night, Bruce Fenton is here for the first time to talk about our origins, our human origins, and human hybrids. That is tomorrow night. Wednesday night, psychic and medium Karen Reese is here. Also for the very first time. Very excited about that. Karen is joining us. And we will also be taking your phone calls on Wednesday night. So get ready for that. Thursday is another Fader night with open lines all night long. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. That's what you want to do. Join the fun. Hashtag F2B is the sandbox. Any questions or comments tonight? Hashtag F2BQ is what you want to do. Of course, both chat rooms are open, one over at Spreaker and one over at KGRA, The Planet. If you'd like to do that, you can also email Jimmy at jimmychurchradio.com. All right, let's get straight to it. Breaking news. The world woke up today to Notre Dame. That's right. It was burning. Paris is burning. The cause of the fire is still unknown. The top of the Gothic architecture was under renovation with scaffolding covering some parts of the spire, which collapsed. After the worst-case scenario was avoided and firefighters managed to save Notre Dame's structure from total destruction, President Macron has vowed to restore the historic cathedral to its former glory. Of all of the relics that are kept at the Cathedral of Our Lady of Paris, otherwise known as Notre Dame de Paris, the crown of thorns and a piece of the true cross are the most revered. And the news that is coming out now is all of the relics were saved and the cathedral's treasury was preserved despite all of the damage. Notre Dame is the most visited monument in Paris. Over 12 million people visit the cathedral every year, more than the Louvre or the Eiffel Tower. More on this in just a bit, so everybody just stay right there. NASA's planet hunting test mission has found its first Earth-sized exoplanet in a star system only 53 light years from Earth. Another exoplanet, a warm mini-Neptune, was found in the same system. So now there's two planets there. The Earth-sized planet, dubbed HD 21749c, completes its orbit of its host star every 8 days. Its planetary sibling, HD 21749b, is about 23 times Earth's mass and has a radius of about 2.7 times that of Earth. NASA expects tests to allow for cataloging of more than 1,500 exoplanets, but it has a potential, of course, to find thousands. Of these, officials anticipate 300 will be Earth-sized exoplanets or double Earth-size super-Earths. Those planets could be the best candidates for supporting life outside of our solar system. Like Earth, They are small, rocky, and usually within the habitable zones of their stars, meaning liquid water can exist on its surface. Don't forget to download the Surfer Music streaming app. You can just go to jimmychurchradio.com, click on those banners right there. Start your free streaming today. Our next event is Contact in the Desert, May 31st through June 3rd in Indian Wells, Palm Springs, California, at the Renaissance Indian Wells Resort and Spa. Tickets and info, contactinthedesert.com. Our 2019 Soul Tech Conference is over the July 4th weekend at the beautiful Sunrise Ranch in Loveland, Colorado. You can sign up for tickets and info at soultechgathering.com. The banners and links are over at Jimmy Church Radio. Also join our Facebook page. It's right there. It's called Soul Tech Official. Okay, don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. It is just $2 per month, and it is now commercial free. You can also, and just click on the podcast banners at Jimmy Church Radio. You can also become an official Fader Not in our membership section. All of that is simple to do. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com. Let's get this show cracking. We got a lot to talk about tonight. I have a special guest that is waiting that we're going to get to talk about Notre Dame, and I'm just going to let you stew for a minute, and then I'll make that announcement here in about 2 minutes. Happy birthday to today. Emma Thompson is 60. Seth Rogen today is 37. And our dead guy's birthday today is Leonardo da Vinci, 1452 to 1519, died at the age of 67. Renaissance artist, inventor, polymath, musician, architect, painted the Mona Lisa, the Last Supper, and of course he drew the Vitruvian Man. He also devised such futuristic technology as tanks, concentrated solar power, adding machines, spearheaded some vital breakthroughs in anatomy and civil engineering, optics, and hydrodynamics. For me, says he was a time traveler. Or he met one, or both. Seriously. On this day in history, 1865, Abraham Lincoln dies from John Wilkes Booth's bullet. Lincoln survived for 9 hours after that. That's right, before giving into that severe head wound. On this day in 1865, Fader fact, Cards Against Humanity bought an island in Maine to preserve wildlife. It's called Hawaii 2. Tonight, it's our last installment of our 4-part series of the Emeral Tablets with Billy Carson. Tonight, we will be discussing the Emeral Tablets and the Fractal Holographic Universe. Tomorrow night, Bruce Fenton is here for the first time. We're going to be talking about our real and true origins of us and human hybrids. Get ready for that. That's tomorrow. Wednesday night, psychic and medium Karen Reese is here for the first time. Very excited about that. And we will be taking your phone calls on Wednesday night. Okay, and later on tonight, the phone lines are closed right now, but later on tonight, I will open up the phone lines and we'll give away some of Billy Carson's books of the compendium of the Emeral Tablets. I have them here. They are all autographed. So get ready. But I'm not picking up any phone calls right now. No, the phone lines are closed down. All right, today, Notre Dame, it is still burning, but they've got it under control. And this is one of the biggest news stories of our generation. And it was a crazy day today to watch this go down. And I wanted to bring on Scott Wolter tonight to talk about it. And Scott, crazy news today. Where were you when you heard?
I was sitting on an airplane in Minneapolis about to take off for Boston and then drive down to Newport, Rhode Island, where I am right now. But I was delayed at the airport. Our plane pulled away from the gate because President Trump had arrived in Minnesota and they shut the airport down. So we had to sit on the tarmac and wait till they opened the airport up again. And I watched on CNN on the plane in horror. I mean, I have to say, Jimmy, I was sick to my stomach. I'm still sick about it. And I'm literally still trying to process, because there's something very wrong that's going on here. And I will say on your show right now, I don't believe this was an accident. If they determined that it was an accident, I don't believe it. And I have good reasons for why I'm saying that.
Well, this is, and I want to explore this, because I was, Rita and I were talking about this all day today. And so I'm going to get back to that in a second. But let me say this.
Okay.
You don't have to be religious or Catholic or any, to appreciate what that building represents. And, 850 years old. It's beautiful architecture. And it's one of the places on this planet. I mean, to hear about that burning down, I might as well hear that the Great Pyramid, tumbled. That's how, and that's it. That's the way that I look at it. It's so anyway. Let's get back to this thought. The restoration crews that were there, we're talking about Notre Dame, okay? They have to be the best security, the best precautions, the best of everything there. And you would think that an accident would be nearly impossible. So certainly possible, but I would say that goes way down the list of possibilities, because it's Notre Dame and who they have there and the precautions and the background checks and everything else. So I would say that accident for me just kind of goes down. I don't know. Of all places too, it's Notre Dame. So I would think that they would be looking at whether it's arson or terrorism, something deliberate, or whatever. I think that would be very high on their list.
No question about it. But let's put it into context with what else is going on. Okay. A little over 3 weeks ago, the second biggest church in France, Saint Sulpice, had a fire. Did you know that?
No, I did not. And of course, that didn't make the news, and they're not talking about that today. Right?
No,
okay.
They're not.
Right.
And another thing that they're not talking about is in Jerusalem, the Al-Aqsa Mosque also caught fire at the exact same time as Notre Dame caught fire. And specifically, what caught fire. Now, you tell me if this is a coincidence or not.
Right.
It was the Marwani prayer room, which is where the Knights Templar stables were and where they had their headquarters when they controlled Jerusalem during the First Crusade. And let me just give you a little more context. Okay?
Sure.
You'll figure it out real fast.
Sure.
What a lot of people don't realize is that Notre Dame, Chartres Cathedral, Amiens, Lyon Cathedral, there's a whole bunch of them in France that are strategically laid out to mirror a certain constellation in the heavens that has to do with goddess veneration. These cathedrals were financed and or built with Knights Templar money in medieval times. The construction of these cathedrals took place shortly after the Templars came back from Jerusalem after digging under the Temple Mount and found stuff. In any case, there's something going on here. And I think what a lot of people don't understand is that, yes, Catholics venerate Notre Dame and these Gothic cathedrals in Europe as Catholic structures, but in fact, their construction using this sacred architecture, Gothic architecture, there's more to it than that. And these are actually temples to the goddess. And there's all kinds of architecture that reflects that we could talk about in detail if you want. But I think there's more going on here. In the past month of February alone, there were 47 documented desecrations, fires, damage of some type done to churches, Catholic churches in France. I don't believe for a second that what happened today was an accident. I'm still processing it, and I'm just sort of vomiting it out in information as I sort of try to process this in my head. But there's something going on here. This was not an accident, in my opinion. I don't think there was an accident that the mosque in Jerusalem caught fire at the same time, and the second biggest church in France was also set on fire 3 weeks ago. So do with that what you will. Those are facts. Something is going on here, and they got the world's attention today.
What group would be behind something like this? ISIS has not is effectively stopped, but that doesn't mean that they're still that they don't have their supporters around the world. Could it be something like that? Attacking.
Why would they set fire to a mosque?
I don't know.
In Jerusalem, in the Holy Land,
right,
on the most sacred, arguably the most sacred ground. Well, it's not the most sacred ground to Muslims, but it's pretty close. There's no motive that I can see for them to do that, other than maybe to cover their tracks, so to speak. We got to torch one of our places. I don't believe that. There's something. I think there's a larger force at work here, and I don't know what that force is. It may be a lot more complicated than we think.
Yeah, I know, because if we take ISIS off the list, and I can't, it doesn't feel that way. If we take that off of the list, where does that leave us? If this is something bigger and broader, that's a pretty scary thought.
Well, look, Jimmy, you got to remember something. Catholics venerate Jesus, right? So do Muslims. So why would they attack these religious houses that venerate Jesus? And like you said, I mean, ISIS right now is literally trying to survive. To coordinate this much collateral damage, as it turns out, it looks like is happening, I think is beyond their capabilities. I think there's something else going on here. It may be a larger force at work trying to make somebody like Muslims look bad. I mean, that's one possibility. I'm just spitballing here. I'm not saying I have this sorted out. I'm still processing. I literally could not eat or drink on that plane. I just watched the flames, and I was like, my God, if the infrastructure of that building completely burns, those walls will cave in. Mm-hmm. And it looks like they were able to save the exterior, but and save the treasures. And the treasury room in the right transit to the south was apparently not damaged. And I've been there and I've seen those treasures. So, I mean, it's devastating, but it could have been a lot worse.
It feels like, and I'm going to go there, this feels like some kind, like a Dan Brown book, right? Or Tom Clancy.
Yeah.
Where you see this kind of thing play out in a movie, and it's all funny, ha, and, in action. But this feels different to me. This feels like there could be something really big at play.
I agree with you 100%. I think something is big at play here. I honestly don't know what it is yet. I think it'll become apparent sooner than later. But right now, on April 15th, 10 o'clock Eastern time, I'm still in shock over this. I'm really, really, really disappointed, and quite frankly, I'm a little scared. I mean, there are other cathedrals out there. Are they next? I mean, these are some of the world's treasures, and people really don't have a clue. Honestly, do not have a clue the magic that these buildings contain, and the importance of these buildings, and where they were put is not a coincidence. and for these things to be desecrated like they are. And I'm not talking about this as a Catholic. I'm talking about this as a human being that appreciates the wonder of architecture, sacred geometry, ley lines, and everything else. This isn't a Catholic structure. This is a human structure. And everyone suffers when something like this happens.
What do we do as if something okay, let's I just want to be direct. If they the construction workers, they're there, sparks fly, a paint can catches on fire, I would think they've got fire extinguishers and they've just got a way to control things. And if it was something else, that's what they can't control, right? If somebody, welding or whatever, right? Then they would be able to contain it, and at least, and they would say it started because some construction equipment got hot or whatever. But we're not hearing that right now. I think.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. It's too early for anyone to draw any conclusions. And like I said, I'm just spitballing here. I'm going with my gut more than anything. But if they're able to demonstrate that an accident happened, and they can show the supporting evidence that this is what happened and this is the sequence, I'll look at it at face value. But I work in the construction industry. That's my main job, right? Material forensics in the concrete industry, and I know how these sites are. And when you're dealing with, any type of a structure that has wood, that has any type of vulnerability to fire, let alone Notre Dame Cathedral, are you kidding me? Every precaution in the world is taken, and I have a hard time believing that some doop-de-doop flipped a cigarette or was welding over a vulnerable area or whatever. I just find that almost impossible. It could just be some random accident. I just don't. It doesn't fit my brain right now.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't fit mine either. And I said that over and over again today. That scenario just doesn't. It's Notre Dame. That's it. The best of the best is there.
If you're going to be careful anywhere, good God.
That's the place, right? It's just unbelievable. And why hasn't the BBC or any of the French press talked about these, not only these other cathedrals that have been vandalized in France, but the mosque in Jerusalem? Why hasn't that been mentioned yet?
Well, that's a great question, and I was tipped off by somebody within the Brotherhood as being a Freemason. You know what I'm talking about. And we talked about it, and this is part of the reason why all of a sudden, I'm trying to think about what this could all be about. But that begs the question. The Alyaska Mosque, let's face it, in this toxic political environment that we have in this country right now, regardless of what side of the aisle you're on, talking about a Muslim structure being attacked, which is what everybody would think of the mosque in Jerusalem being, that's a huge story. That's a huge story. That's inside the walled city of Jerusalem, that an attack took place. Why aren't they talking about that? Why, Saint Sulpice? Are you kidding me? That's
right.
One of the most important religious houses in the world. I mean, it takes a back seat to Notre Dame, it's literally only a few blocks away in Paris, but it's an amazing structure with a history that's incredible. And you didn't know that when I told you that. You weren't aware of it, were you?
No, I was not aware of it, Scott. And I want to thank you.
And it happened a month ago.
I want to thank you for taking the time to come on tonight, because I know what you're doing out there. You want to tell everybody what you're doing in Rhode Island?
Well, the show has been announced. America on Earth is back, and I'm thrilled to death. And the new season starts May 28th, and we are wrapping up our shooting season in the field. I have a lot more voiceovers and things to do back home, but I'm out here working on an episode that I think when people see it, they're going to really like it. I think they're going to love it. And unfortunately, though, we're going to, my memory of this trip is going to be scarred with this tragic event, and it's.
And we don't even know we don't even know the extent of the damage. I saw a couple of images that were just released of the interior of the cathedral. With those grand arches, right? There's like 3 of them that go across, and the middle one is a giant hole. And that's crazy. It's going to be a long time before anybody, any tourists or anybody else is allowed back in. That's one. But the other thing is we're not going to know the extent of the damage for days, if not weeks. It's unbelievably sad for all of us to go through that today. And again, Scott, thank you so much. We'll get you back on the show here when things get ready to premiere. And you have a home here when you've got that breaking news. Thank you so much.
You're so great, and I appreciate it. Can I just say one last thing, just to put this into perspective?
Absolutely.
Notre Dame Cathedral took almost 200 years, 2 centuries to build.
Right.
The fact of the matter is, Jimmy, you and I, and they've already, UNESCO, Macron in France, they've all said, we are going to rebuild this. But the truth of the matter is, you and I are not going to live to see the finished product when it is finally restored, if that's what happens. And that speaks to the magnitude of this event. This is truly an historic event that will be talked about long into the future. And you and I, Jimmy, will probably not live to see that edifice restored to its beauty again.
Sad day for the world.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Scott. And
all right, man.
Get back to work, and I'll talk to you when you get back in town.
All right. Thanks again. You're the best, pal.
No, you are, Scott. Thank you so much, my friend.
All right. Talk to you later.
Scott Wolter coming in. He's busy out there working in Rhode Island. But, he's absolutely right. Today is a very important day, and I want to thank Scott for coming in. This is Fade to Black. I'll be right back. Tonight is our 4th installment with Billy Carson. And tonight, the Emeral Tablets and the Fractal Holographic Universe. I'll be right back. Stay with us.
This is Nicole Church, daughter of you-know-who, and you're listening to Fade to Black on JimmyChurchRadio.com and the Game Changer Network.
You're listening to Jimmy Church Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can get our podcast for just $2 per month. All you have to do is click on the podcast banner over at jimmychurchradio.com.
Hey folks, guess what the number one phrase that Life Change Tea receives by email? You ready? We love this tea. We love this tea. Time after time, week after week, we love this tea. Life Change Tea gives you more energy, a beautiful cleansing, and fulfills its slogan perfectly. The tea that makes you go. So if you want to be on your health game, log on to getthetea.com and order Life Change Super Strength Tea. Packages come in a 1-month supply, and when you brew this stuff, wait until you see the results. Aren't we all about the results? And with a lot of people's health struggling, we can use a little bit of help. Doctors will tell you disease starts in the gut. So log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Be our next email saying, I love this tea. I love this tea. Get the tea at getthetea.com. Helping America one tea bag at a time.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Do you want to lose weight but have no idea where to begin? The Fast Start Diet, a 3-day weight loss plan, is the answer. 3 days of nutritionally balanced, calorie-restricted meals delivered right to your door. No shopping, no measuring, and no cooking. Everything is prepared for you and ready to eat at home or on the go. The Fast Start Diet has all the amazing benefits of intermittent fasting without starving. We've helped thousands of people who have struggled to reach their weight loss goals. Isn't it time we helped you? With the Fast Start Diet, you'll lose weight and feel great.
Find Fast Start Diet on Amazon or go to faststartdiet.com and use promo code TALK to get 10% off your first box. And as a special bonus, Fast Start will include their #1 rated Lipo3 appetite suppressant spray free with your order. This is Jimmy Church. And whatever your diet plans are, do what I did. Go to faststartdiet.com.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Matthew. You're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
Welcome back. Fade to Black. Our guest tonight, Billy Carson. I do want to thank Scott Walter for coming in. A very, very busy day for him. Crazy day. This is part 4 and the final chapter of our 4-part series with Billy Carson on the Emeral Tablets of Thought. We've been broadcasting this over the last 3 weeks. Tonight is week 4, and we are going to discuss the Emeral Tablets and the Fractal Holographic Universe. Billy is the founder of Forbidden Knowledge, the author of the Compendium of the Emeral Tablets. I'm holding up the book right here. There it is. He is an expert and the host of Deep Space, a new original streaming series over on Gaia. And his Forbidden Knowledge has over 2 million followers and subscribers throughout social media. He is also the CEO of First Class Space Agency based in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And his space agency is involved in research and development of alternative propulsion systems and zero-point energy devices. Billy is also the founder of Pantheon Elite Records, a contributor to Thrive Global, and is a registered international journalist. His website, of course, is Forbidden with a 4. ForbiddenKnowledge.com. I'd like to welcome back for week 4, Billy Carson. Billy, good evening. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thanks for having me back, Jimmy.
It's been an amazing ride with you over the last month, and the book is so good, and I've had such positive feedback from everybody, and I want to let everyone know the links to get the compendium is right there in our YouTube feed. It is also on Twitter and also over at jimmychurchradio.com. Just click on the link and you can order yourself your very own copy. How has the feedback been since the book's release, Billy?
It's been totally and absolutely amazing. The 5-star reviews, some reviews have been put up on Amazon now. I just read a couple to you real quick. Billy Carson's level of knowledge is unmatched. At first, I thought this may be tough to read, but Billy breaks down the teachings, and it's very comprehensible. I feel my level of intelligence skyrocketed after reading this book. I'm looking forward to reading more of his work. So I mean that's just one of many. There's so many up here now. I'm just pretty excited about the feedback so far, and everybody's just is asking me, do I have anything else to put out?
Well, see, this is what I really enjoy, Billy. Not only about your work, but this community, is that everybody is on a quest. We're trying to figure this stuff out, and you've been doing this for a very long time. And the difference between your work and so many others, and I appreciate everybody's efforts. But you are out there flying around the world, going to these ancient sites, and it's what you do. You're going out there and getting it done, and that puts you head and shoulders above so many others out there. That when somebody reads your work, it comes from a mindset of somebody that has been there, that has been to these megalithic structures and these important sites, and your quest for knowledge is the same as everybody else's. You're just trying to get those answers.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And I just made a commitment to myself that I would travel the world no matter what, and I would visit these places firsthand and not rely on photographs from encyclopedias or Google Images or mainstream media, that I would actually be able to get out there myself. And I sacrificed a lot to be able to do it. And so far it's worked out for me. And I've created a lot of memories that are worth more than gold.
And speaking of all of this, I have to ask you, Notre Dame today, of course, in Paris, caught fire. We don't know what caused the fire yet. And of course, we'll find out. But, such an important site. It's 850 years old. Such an important structure, and the world watched it today burn. What went through your mind when you got the news?
I was thinking right away, is somebody trying to destroy some more hidden information?
Right.
Because as Masons hide information in structures, in buildings. A lot of the buildings on this planet that were built by Masons, or actually designed by Masons and maybe built by other people, but the design is the most important part, have a lot of hidden code messages, information, and historical, real, true historical background as to what happened in the ancient past. Also, a lot of these buildings are built to harness energy. So a lot of the cathedrals are built in the way that they look, the shape and style that they are, in order to harness different types of energies. And this is what a lot of people don't know. A lot of churches are built in a specific way to harness energies. And there may have been some information that was discovered there that may, the people in charge may have felt, this may be just a little bit too much. Maybe they're getting a little bit too close to the truth. Maybe somebody will figure this out later on. I mean, we just don't know. There's so many different things that could have happened or potentially might happen. But yeah, it's really a shame. Another great antiquity now being destroyed in modern times.
Yeah, no doubt. And I thought about all of that today. The crown of thorns and the true cross. If those are there, just think about and it is a museum and other things, but think about what has been collected and deposited and stored there for centuries and centuries, things that we can't even wrap our mind around, right? And could that be part of it? And you have to stop, no matter what, you have to stop and think in those terms here. That quite possibly somebody was trying to destroy artifacts, history, information, and also the structure itself, which has meanings all over it. The stained glass and the sacred geometry, all of this might have been a target, Billy.
I agree with you 100%. I mean, there are no coincidences. And when you have a crew working on a structure that is so priceless, every single thing is taken into consideration. And for there to be this massive fire, to me, I hate to be a conspiracy realist every single time, but this particular situation, again, I have to look and think, what were they trying to hide? What has been destroyed that would have given mankind another clue to the true history of our ancient past? Was there something in there that was destroyed that could have awoken people to the point where they realized that they didn't need a religion anymore? So many different things that could have reasons why it could have caught on fire. I mean, it's highly unlikely that it was just a regular, typical accident.
Yeah, and Scott Walter was just telling us here that there were 47 churches that have been attacked in France, and nobody's talking about that. And a mosque inside of Jerusalem, inside the walls there, at the same time Notre Dame caught fire today. Yeah,
sounds like an erasing job. Somebody's erasing information.
It seems much bigger. We're going to find out. It could have been an accident, but I would think that whoever is the restoration crew and that company or companies that is doing the work on Notre Dame, that they are the absolute best of the best of the best, and there wouldn't be any accidents. Right. Accidents can happen. I'm not saying that, but I would think that they have precautions in place for accidents. Things called fire extinguishers. And you know what I mean? And a fire wouldn't spread in Notre Dame unless it was deliberate. And it just doesn't feel like an accident to me. All right, moving on. It just bothers me. The whole situation bothers me. Okay. Let's get to the subject of the show tonight, which is the Emeral Tablets and the Holographic Universe. Now, Fractal Holographic Universe. And like always, Billy, let's start off here and just a brief description of what the Emeral Tablets are.
Mm-hmm. Well, the Emeral Tablets are a work of tablets that were written by Thoth the Atlantean. He claimed to be an Atlantean priest king that ruled over the ancient land of Kem a very long time ago. He ruled for about 14,000 years over the land of Kem. He wrote these tablets around 36,000 years ago and left them in the custody of pyramid priests before he descended into these halls of Amenti that he talks about. But these tablets are literally a guide to life. They cover everything from metaphysics, quantum physics, quantum mechanics, hermeticism. They also cover technology and different types of technologies that we are just now starting to redevelop in our current era. And I would most likely a lot of the scientists have read this content and maybe trying to reproduce some of the things that they've read that he left in there. And so these tablets were rediscovered in more modern times and then brought to light through many, over the last few hundred years, by many famous people like St. Thomas Aquinas, Roger Bacon, Isaac Newton, the Queen of Sheba, Aleister Crowley. I mean, the list goes on and on. That they've passed through a lot of different hands, and a lot of different new works have been written based off of and inspired by these Emeral Tablets. And now, in the modern day, we have a time where people are ready to receive this information, analyze it, and decipher it in a way that nobody has ever done before. And that's why I wrote the compendium of the Emeral Tablets, to give a complete breakdown of the information to the best of my ability, based off research and investigation, to allow the general population of the world to have access to the enormous amount of information and mind-blowing content that's in the tablets.
Now, if we're going to move all of this over into discussing the holographic universe, that's one thing. Then we add fractal holographic universe to it, one of the most fascinating subjects that we could ever entertain here on Fade to Black. And bringing that full circle into the Emeral Tablets is a pretty bold move there, Mr. Carson. And I cannot wait. I cannot wait for this conversation tonight. What is the fractal holographic universe?
The fractal holographic universe is basically a theory that was built, and not really a theory anymore, because it's actually been applied in mainstream works. Something by a guy by the name of Mandelbrot, who developed something called a fractal set. And this Mandelbrot fractal set is a very simple equation that allows that he based it off of what he saw in nature, and it allows the progression of very simple structures to reoccur over and over again to infinity. And he came up with this concept after observing nature, observing mountains, observing how rivers and streams, when zoomed out, look just like the connecting tissue inside of your lungs. That also can zoom out even more into the universe. It looks like the connecting tissue that connects all galaxies. It also kind of looks like the neuronic activity inside the brain. It's more of that as above, so below. And as he looked at it, he realized that we may be living in some type of a hologram that has the same exact patterns reoccurring over and over at very different scales. And through this, he developed this thing called the Mandelbrot set, which is a very simple equation which has been applied by Pixar in more recent times. And they completely, totally changed the way that we view movies today by applying the Mandelbrot set, because it allowed them to create future, more progressive scenes inside the movie without even having to write the program for it. The Mandelbrot set allows it to happen. It allows the next frame to appear on the screen when the characters on the screen needed it, versus, the old-fashioned way, which would took up more memory and more space, more memory and hard drive space than we even had available. And now there's a game called No Man's Sky, which is a video game that's out. This video game has 80 trillion planets.
Right.
And each planet has millions and millions of entities on it, all on the size of a CD disc that fits into a game console. And it's literally an infinite game. It never ends. And it's an entire universe on a disc, all based off the Mandelbrot set. So this is what we've basically come to now, the understanding that nature builds everything in fractals, these very small pieces that reoccur over and over again to create the whole. And just like when you take a hologram and take one small piece of the hologram, you're going to find the entire holographic image in that smallest piece. The only thing that you lose is resolution, a little bit of resolution. So fractals are really amazing, and they can be applied to everything from nature to financial systems to economics, even to psychology, and even to gaining of knowledge. Just now, the fact that we're going over the Emeral Tablets is giving us a fractal of Thoth's mind, his consciousness is entering into our bodies.
So now, and I understand the idea behind, like No Man's Sky, and creating something only when it is needed, right? Otherwise, the lines of code or the information or the data is absolutely insurmountable. You just can't get you can't get to it, and that applied to the universe makes a lot of sense, and that's why the game is able to be played, or rendering, or in movies and so forth, can be done correctly. And I get that. And then, but to back up in the Fibonacci sequence and everything else in nature, it all makes sense. Now let's tie that back into the Emeral Tablets. Where is the connection there?
The connection is in tablet number 8, the Key of Mysteries. So in tablet number 8, this is where you have Thoth talking about being able to basically leave this dimension and access other dimensions and also the fact that this dimension is based off of light. Now, that's an amazing statement, because what a lot of quantum physicists and experts in supersymmetry and theoretical physics are saying right now is that we're living inside of a light matrix. They're saying the same thing now that he was saying 36,000 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And basically what this means is that when you take any particle in the third dimension and break it down to its smallest constituents, it always breaks down to one thing. But after you get past the quarks and everything else, but beyond the size of an atom, it's still, when you smash those pieces together, you get light. And the only thing that actually truly exists, according to Thoth, in the third dimension is consciousness. And this is now the same thing that science is saying, that everything in the third dimension is basically consciousness, because consciousness interacts with vibrating strings through string theory, and these vibrating strings interactions then collapses electromagnetic waves into something that we like to call matter, which is still truly a full illusion. And the way that this whole thing works, according to Thoth, and he breaks it down in a more esoteric way, but I'm going to give people a real basic understanding, is you have your brain, which is totally encased in darkness, and it doesn't know, see, smell, hear anything that's going on in the real world. It can't. It has no, but it has friends. He has 5 friends: hearing, smell, seeing, touch, smell, all the 5 senses. He said, look, guys, go out there and tell me what's going on. So the friends go out and they start gathering data, literally zeros and ones, bits of information. The friends themselves literally don't know what they're collecting. They're just collecting the information, but they themselves can't decipher it. So they go out and they bring this information back to the brain that's encased in total darkness, and give it to the brain and say, here, my friend, take this information. The brain then collects all this information from its 5 friends and then sorts it all out, figures it out, and then projects a hologram of what's going on out there. And then we navigate through the third dimension based off this hologram from a brain that's encased in total darkness.
Now, okay, now we're getting this. My brain just exploded. If that is the case, when does it become physical?
It becomes physical. Well, physicality is truly an illusion. It becomes physical once we're navigating, or once our consciousness has allowed the waves, the electromagnetic waves, to slow down. All matter is electromagnetic waves that have been interacted with consciousness and slowed down to give the appearance of solidity, which is still an illusion, but we navigate through it because we're totally immersed in the holographic illusion, or the holographic universe. We are inside it, so we, from a perspective of being inside, truly aware at times that we're living inside of a holographic matrix, what we truly are. So there's a dimension beyond this that exists, but this particular dimension is a dimension based off of light and electromagnetic waves. Everything when we say the word light, it doesn't mean only the light that we could see, because human beings have a very, very limited vision. We can only see a very small spectrum of the light waves, typically what you see inside of a rainbow. However, there are far more patterns of light that are actually available and visible to other beings, possibly with different types of eyes. So everything truly is made of light, and there's trillions and trillions of electromagnetic waves flowing in and out of us and through us right now that we can't even observe and see with our limited human vision, but they're there. There could be all kind of entities, beings, structures, all types of things happening, a lot of data and information as well being carried back and forth. If we were able to see it all, I think that our brains would probably explode. This is why we can only see a very limited array of light, so that we can analyze, break down, and digest what we can see, because that's just enough for us to handle.
It's a very interesting concept, and I wanted to, before I hit the break, because we're going to be talking about this when I come back, are we suggesting that simulation, which is a different, simulated reality, is a different definition, but it is similar in concept to holographic and a fractal holographic world around us or universe? Are the two crossing over? Are you suggesting that they may be related?
Oh, absolutely. I believe that we're living in a simulation, and the simulation, the fundamental basis of how the simulation works is through a hologram. So, give you an example. There's a video game called The Sims. So that's a simulation. Literally, that's what they call it, The Sims. But that Sims video game is a holographic light matrix when you turn it on. That's what they're living inside of. The animals and the creatures and the people and their trucks and vans and the houses, all that are simulation inside of a light matrix that we've created on a program inside of a game console. And when they become conscious, which they will according to the creators within the next 5 to 8 years, they themselves will begin to ask, who are we? Where did we come from? Who created us? What are we living in? So we've now already created another conscious universe of people and entities based off of a light matrix that is an actual simulation. So what level of simulation are we living in? How many levels to reality are there? We're probably not living in base reality at all, probably far from it. We could be one of trillions of holographic simulations that have been created, and there could be many, many levels above us before you can even get to base reality.
Are you okay with that?
Well, it took a while for me to wrap my mind and head around it. And the more I look into science and see how we're creating our own, because it's still as above, so below. We're creating our own realities and universes and everything else and simulations. I just feel like it's amazing that we're now copying what's already been done to us. But I feel that the consciousness pattern flows through all of these realms. And if you can trace consciousness back to source, you come to the actual true creator or creators of this entire simulation system.
So
multiverse.
So Billy, you and I, we're at a conference, we're at a panel, we've got 2,000 people sitting in front of us, or we're in a hotel lobby somewhere in the lounge, and we've got hundreds of people walking around and talk. That all of that is just a simulation, right? It's
a sophisticated simulation, not just a simulation. It's a simulation. It's kind of like you have a pool of water, and you take a pebble and drop that pebble in the water. And that pebble has some fundamental basic information and programming in it. But once it hits the water, now that programming kind of spreads out, and you can see those ripples going out.
Right.
So that's the kind of concept of the simulation. It's kind of a free will simulation. And you kind of just sit back and watch the ripples flow out and see what happens.
So those people walking around us in the hotel lobby, they're just Sims. I got you. Let's take a break. Let's take a break right here, Billy. Our guest tonight, Billy Carson. Tonight is our last installment, part 4 of the Emeral Tablets of Thoth. Of course, his book is called The Compendium of the Emeral Tablets. Tonight we're discussing the Emeral Tablets and the Fractal Holographic Universe. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. More with Billy when we come back after this short break. Stay with us.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas. Introducing the new Surfer Music app. Listen, fade or not, you know I love my music. This is my go-to for all things notes. The Surfer app is a brand new concept in music listening. Surfer is free, providing unlimited access to thousands of live streaming radio stations. Surfer is an exciting, interactive listening experience. Discovery and surprise are built right in. Surfer is your destination to discover and rediscover great live streaming music. It features high-quality audio streams, free access to music from thousands of live streaming radio stations, unlimited listening, unlimited skipping. You get a music visualizer, and you can also select your favorite channels. Get it at the Apple App Store or Google Play. Just search Surfer Music. or click on the surfer banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Go back, Lee Tappy.
Folks, this is very important information. What's to be said about CBD? AncientLifeOil.com. Our CBD is made from hemp and has 0.003 THC, which means this wonderful product won't get you high, no matter what amount you take. What does CBD do for the body? My hands are tied. But you can Google CBD benefits and be astounded. When you're finished reading, you'll want to log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. and purchase. Life is good when you feel good. People are tired of pain. People are asking for non-GMO organic products to help them with, you fill in the blank. Legal in 49 states, and again, our CBD is made from hemp. Ancient Life Oil is about helping people one by one by one. If you wonder how good the product is, the CEO takes it every day without miss. AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. Have a great day.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA Digital Broadcast Station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to jimmychurchradio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. Yes. We are also Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And I'm Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. And you're listening to Jimmy Church. The Revolution.
Reclaim your active lifestyle with Angioprim. Angioprim is the original liquid oral chelation supplement. Chelation helps remove toxins, heavy metals, and cholesterol in your veins and arteries that can cause blockages. Scientific research proves the active ingredient in Angioprim has superior oral chelation action that helps promote cardiovascular health. Find out more. Go to angioprim.com. Talk to a trained consultant by calling Angioprim toll-free 877-882-7221.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can become an official Fadernaut by just going to our membership section at jimmychurchradio.com.
Hey, it's Grace. Can we talk about something serious for a minute? Your age. Getting old has its perks. But remember, being a few years younger, you know, your hair was thicker, you didn't have so many wrinkles, that extra weight wasn't haunting you, and you just felt better. Well, we can't turn back the clocks and go back 10 or 15 years, but you can start feeling and looking 10 or 15 years younger with Nature's Youth RSF. It's a doctor-formulated daily supplement that helps your body maintain its peak performance and fight the aging process. Imagine sleeping better, looking better, and feeling better. See how Nature's Youth RSF has helped thousands of people just like you at nature'syouth.com. nature'syouth.com. Imagine how it will feel when your family and friends are asking you what you did to look so good. Your secret will be Nature's Youth RSF. It's time to start looking better and feeling better. Learn more and order your Nature's Youth RSF at nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com.
Hello, this is Serena Wright Taylor from Conscious Life Expo, and you're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church, who holds the Lucky Pony record for the best astrological chart since 1963. True story.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
Welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Billy Carson. This is our last installment on the Emeral Tablets. And tonight we're discussing the Emeral Tablets and the Fractal Holographic Universe with Billy. The book is called A Compendium of the Emeral Tablets. There it is. You can get your own copy. The links are down in the live feed and also over at jimmychurchradio.com and on Twitter. And Billy, I wanted to stay on this Fibonacci fractal element of all of this because if the suggestions that are in or on Tablet 8, we have to then think about what Einstein was doing with the space-time continuum, or black holes, or the event horizon, and the fractal elements that are suggested there that we are proving today, and gravitational waves and the fractal side of the universe. Well, this goes all the way back to Tablet 8, and science is now coming together on this side of the information from Thoth.
Absolutely. It's truly amazing, because everything that Thoth talks about in the Emeral Tablets, and in reference to even the fact that everything that we do, everything that we think, every action we put out there into the universe, all exists permanently in space-time, okay? And this, now you look into more modern religious texts, you discover things like the Book of Life, and everything you've done has been written down. And when you hear that, you go, oh, that sounds, okay, that sounds like some kind of crazy mythical thing. There's a sky daddy with a wand that's recording everything we do and see and hear and say. But now when you go into modern day science, peer-reviewed science that we've got now, that we know based off of real research and study by real quantum mechanics experts and physicists worldwide, the fact that everything that we do, say, think, every action that we take in this third dimension is recorded permanently, because everything generates an energetic signature, and due to the second law of thermodynamics, energy cannot be destroyed, it can only be transformed. Even the great quantum physicist and theoretical physicist Stephen Hawking, who had come up with a theory about black holes, originally thinking that when you went into the black hole, you would completely be destroyed, then recanted that much later in his life and said that no, Einstein and everybody was right. When you go into a black hole, you are not destroyed. The information is stored on the event horizon permanently. All information in the universe cannot be destroyed. It can only be transformed. So everything that you've done, said, thunk, everything we've built, everything we've created is all the information is stored somewhere in the universe, and is accessible through what they call the Akashic records, if you want to get mystical with it, through mysticism, or if you want to look at it from a scientific aspect, we're talking about the fact that we're living in a fractal holographic universe that has all the information contained herein in bits of zeros and ones all over the place that are accessible if you can obtain the right frequency to download the information.
The fractal side of the universe, if everything is broken down into singularities, and I'm talking about, black holes and this Fibonacci sequence that goes back to the basis of everything that is here, right? You walk out into your garden, walk out in your backyard, look at a leaf, look at anything that is alive in nature, and you're going to see that sequence there. And then that same sequence expands all the way out into the universe, and that's what things are based on.
Absolutely.
Right? And
yeah,
if that is indeed the case, did this information come to Thoth from elsewhere, from off planet?
Oh, I do believe so. He was taught by the Dweller, which is his dad, Enki. He calls him Thought Me. He's got a lot of different names, the Dweller. He's got all these different names, but regardless, the Seven Lords as well were his teachers. So he himself had to come from a position of being a student. And as you know, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So now he himself, being the student initially, has now become the teacher, and probably one of the greatest teachers of all time. He kind of even surpassed, I think, some of the teachers that taught him. He became the real true master of knowledge and information, and has gone out throughout the entire universe teaching these incredible esoteric teachings and metaphysics and quantum physics in different languages and spirituality, I believe, possibly throughout the entire universe, or at least throughout several different galaxies.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm getting texts here that are taking my mind off of where we're going. Somebody wanted me to go back and ask you about The Sims. You said something about the creators are going to bring them to life in 5 to 7 years?
Yes, sir. It's amazing what's going on these days technologically. There was a article written a couple years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago, by a tech magazine, where the owner of The Sims was collecting information from people on their own personal memories and how they thought about different things. And it was a huge questionnaire because he wanted to collect all the information about people's lives, histories, feelings, thoughts, experiences to add into The Sims game. And then about a year later, another article had come out about the fact that adding AI technology to these video games is going to take them to the next level, and that within the next 5 to 8 years, the Sims could potentially be conscious. Now, this is a big revolution in the way that we see our own world, because if we now are creating a video game that has obtained consciousness, who are we? Are we God? We're their gods, literally. They're going to be people in there. They get married, they have families, they can get pregnant and even give birth in this video game. They go to work, they go on dates, they buy houses, they have neighbors and parties and all this stuff, just like we do, but now add consciousness to that. How long will it be before these Sims themselves begin to develop their own technology where they then create their own simulated universe? And then there's another level beyond them. So how many levels does it go? I mean, it can just continue to go throughout infinity because of as above, so below. We're literally talking about, multiply created universes, a multiverse created by ancestor civilizations.
It reminds me of not The Sims, but the Fractal Holographic Universe, going back to the movie Thrive, where they talked about the dual torus manifold and how it fed into itself and it was continuous. And even though it doesn't look like the Fibonacci sequence or fractals, it actually is. And that also was the basis of the universe. Is there a connection there?
Oh, there's totally a connection. Our universe has that exact shape. We're talking about the shape of a torus, which is, for the layman, it's looks like a giant donut, basically, with an energy flow that flows on the inside upward and then comes down around the outside, flowing downward. And this energy flow can be found in the human heart, which is flowing in and out of the human body, which creates a torus field around the human body. In and out of a fruit, for example, if you take a look at a lemon or an orange or any type of fruit like that, you would find the energy signature would be similar to the same coming out of a human body, a torus energy field. When you look into the laboratory where you're looking at some of the things that I'm working on at First Class Space Agency, where we're taking Mercury and putting it into a rotation of about, we're trying to get up to 50,000 RPMs. We haven't quite gotten there yet. But when you do that and electrify the field that's creating, you then create a torus energy field. So this can be applied to your vehicle and your engine. If you were able to see the energy flow from the engine in your vehicle, you'd see that it creates a torus energy field around the engine. So it's everywhere. It's everywhere in life. This torus energy fields. We're living in a torus energy field universe, and because of as above, so below, the universe itself is in the shape of a torus. The energy flow is up through the inside, around the outside, back down again, consistently flowing over and over again. And this is something that we can discover in something called the vector equilibrium, which is a point within the 64 grid tetrahedron inside the flower of life, which emanates energy infinitely all around us, in us, and through us. And it can be tapped into, which is something that Nikola Tesla discovered as well in the 1900s, can be tapped into for an unlimited source of power and energy wirelessly, which is available to us abundantly right now, today, on this planet, which has been suppressed by the elites and the oligarchy that control everything and have us using combustion engines and fossil fuels.
The electromagnetic protection that we have here on Earth also has the same shape.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, the magnetic field of the planet itself takes on the same shape of a torus energy field, but then it bends and wraps around the planet and bends cosmic rays and radiation around the planet so that we don't, have DNA damage that causes us to die from cancer within a matter of a few months. Otherwise, we wouldn't even be here on this planet. This planet would be sterile if we didn't have that.
Now, let's get back to the concepts here that we started to discuss at the opening of the show, where Thoth was collecting the information from others and bringing them into his brain and his mind, and others can do the same thing, where the information isn't necessarily, I want you to expand on this, isn't necessarily there for us and stored. We get it and then process it. Let's continue that conversation.
Yeah, definitely. So basically, one of the ways to become immortal is through putting out information that gets carried on from person to person, from consciousness to consciousness. In other words, even the work that I've put into this book, the Compendium of the Emeral Tablets, in a way is adding to my immortality and sending out fractals of my consciousness into the universe that's being picked up by other conscious beings, and then they're taking that information and passing it on again to other conscious beings. So even just through looking at the example of this book, you're finding that I've passed my consciousness into many other people. Thoth himself knew this and was talking about this in the Emeral Tablets, where he has transferred his ego into the bodies of other men, and something that's happened here through this light matrix that he talks about that we're living in. As we read, dissolve, and understand, digest, and understand the Emeral Tablets and the content in there, we have taken on a fractal of information from Thoth's conscious, from his own mind, and absorbed it into our own body. So it's really to say that we've now become him in a way, so we've kind of taken on some of his consciousness into our own brains and passed it on to other people. So in a way, his immortality also flows through transferring of information, which is another way of transferring your consciousness into other people. And it's really a very simple concept, because if I go out there right now and I discover something in nature and I write a book about it, and now that book becomes a book that's a school book now that every kid's got to read when they go to school. The information that I studied in research and then consciously discovered my information that I wrote about it has now been passed on to millions and millions of kids over and over and over again. So that's a way of transferring your consciousness into other people, is through research and investigation that has been written down and then put out there. So there's many different ways that fractals work. We've all got fractals of information inside of us from various different works and information that we've taken in over many, many years.
If something like the Emeral Tablets, Billy, was so important and is so important to human development, why wouldn't more advanced beings have ensured that the knowledge was widely available through the ages before now?
I think it's all about timing. It's all about when the people are ready for the information. Us as a human race, we're just now rolling over on our bellies as a baby, as a civilization. We're rolling over on our belly and trying to get on our knees and start to crawl. That's kind of where we are right now. And I think that that's where, the Emeral Tablets really kicks in. We're finally coming to a point in our civilization where we're able to start to digest this information and figure it out. There's a famous quote in the book, in the very back of the book, right under the acknowledgments and thank you that I put in the book. And it says, the last words of thrice the great Hermes, who's also Thoth. Wise words, although written by my decaying hand, remain imperishable through time, imbued with the medicine of immortality by the All-Master. Be unseen and undiscovered by all those who will come and go, wandering the wastelands of life. Be hidden until an older heaven births human beings who are worthy of your wisdom. That's us. We now are the human beings worthy of the wisdom. All this information has been hidden, has been occulted, has been suppressed, has been oppressed, and now finally in this current day and age, we have gotten to the point as a civilization where we're ready for this information under this under this sun. So this is where we are. We're at the point now of the beginning of learning. We now are the students. And when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. We have to realize that we are both the students and the teacher. Just like right now on this planet, we're both the prisoners and we're the prison guards. We have to get rid of that mindset and turn it over to learning and developing consciousness.
The information, the tablets have been around for a very long time, and they have been translated and spoken about for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. Why didn't it catch on? Why didn't it catch on earlier? You know what I mean? I understand that right now we're more mature and there's technology now to get the information out. But why do you is it because we weren't ready 2,000 years ago?
We weren't ready. We were heavily involved and completely enthralled in the Catholic system, which had gone, and the Roman Catholic system had gone and conquered the world basically, and beat, raped, and threatened the entire world into submission under this religious control system. And you look at every major continent and you discover that I've been to these continents, all these third world countries and everything else. What do you see when you go there? You see churches and cathedrals everywhere. You go to Teotihuacan, Mexico, or you go to Mexico City. There's hundreds of hills inside of Mexico City with churches on top. Those hills, if you could take the covering away from them, you discover that they are pyramids that have been blown. The tops have been blown off and churches put on top. The people there, the Mayans are not Latinos. There's no such thing as a Latino. Those people were indigenous people that were beaten, raped into submission and forced into Catholicism and Christianity. And this happened all over the entire planet. So you have these great works of tablets out there that have all this amazing information to free humanity consciously from the binds that tether us, like Thoth says. And then all of a sudden, you look at the time frame when a lot of this information was really easily accessible, but unfortunately, mankind's mind was completely encased in darkness through this religious system that was put out there. And we're just now getting to the point where people are kind of shaking off a lot of these religious systems and starting to look elsewhere for information and knowledge and seeking more into spirituality to figure out who they are, where they came from. People are really now starting to take a journey into inner space to find out what's going on versus outer space. They're going to the real temples, right, in the head in between the two eyes versus going to the temple buildings out there, which have no purpose and no real power whatsoever. The power is inside of us. And I think this is the time when people are really starting. Back then, people were literally, they had something called the Inquisitions. And during the Inquisitions, over the course of, I think it was 700 years, they killed and tortured 80 million people, the Catholic Church did, under the order of popes. So this is incredible. 80 million people, they make Hitler look like an angel almost. That's a lot of people that you killed, tortured, and murdered. They have things called, which are in museums right now, like the Pope's spear, which would be inserted into a woman and then expanded until she popped, and all these different torture devices. They're in museums. You look it up on Google. You can go to museums and look at this stuff. These torture devices that get people to force people into this Christianity, this Christian system, versus allowing people to develop their own ideologies and seek spirituality. So it had really locked down mankind's mind and put us in a mental, psychological prison for many thousands of years.
Is the church threatened by the Emeral Tablets?
Oh, I believe so. You're talking about a hegemonic, megalithic, multi-trillion-dollar entity that has complete control over billions of people on this planet. But I think that they control other planets as well, just because of some of the anomalies that I saw that resemble what we see on Earth in terms of churches. But regardless, on this planet, billions of people, and they don't want to give up that power at this time. Most of the wars that happen on this planet are all approved by the Catholic Church, by the Black Pope. Not a black man like me, like a black man, but the Black Pope. He wears all black. The Pope that wears all white that you see on TV, he has some power, but not the ultimate power. The Black Pope controls the whole scene, everything behind the scenes, and actually approves wars and so forth on this planet. it's a very, very deep, dark hole, rabbit hole that you go down when you start to research all of the information about them, and as well as everything they do for their indoctrination speeches and all the things that they have to do to vow to the papacy. It's really it really begins to get extremely, extremely dark, and all that information is public record. Anybody can really go download it and look it up. They don't make any effort to hide that information, but they'll hide the Emeral Tablets from you. So it's really amazing.
Have you seen American Gods yet? We talked about it last week. Did you watch it this week? I know you've been very busy.
Yeah, I've been really busy trying to catch up on some stuff for Gaia, but this is what, when we get off of this call, my fiance actually has it queued up right now. We found it on Stars. So
yeah,
we have it on Stars right now.
It's on Stars. Yeah, I'm going to give you a little spoiler. So last night in the new episode, I think it's Orlando. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Says to Thoth. Thoth is a mortician, by the way. And his name is Ibis, right? And but he says to him, and you're going to love this, and you need to pay attention to comments like this throughout the series. He goes, "Ibis, you were thrice, man." And he just lays it out like that, and most viewers, it's just going to go, blow right past them. They're not going to get it. And then for me, I just sat and I was like, man, did everybody just catch that little comment right there, that little tasty nugget? Yeah, American Gods. It is absolutely amazing. Let's take a break right here, Billy. We'll be right back after this short break. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight is part 4 of our series on the Emeral Tablets. We're discussing the Emeral Tablets and the Fractal Holographic Universe. More with Billy after this short break. Stay with us.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. This year we've experienced more than our fair share. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black. And last month I decided to make sure my family does not have to worry about food should we get caught in a real emergency situation. Introducing Numana, a healthy, storable product that tastes so good that you'll want to eat it every day instead of just during those times of duress. All Numana products have a 25-year shelf life, are MSG and GMO-free, no preservatives, and are made in America. With the Numana pack in your home, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you've protected your family. Not only have I tasted and tested, I own it. Now you can too. Just click on the Numana banner on JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code Jimmy when you order. In addition to a discount, we'll send you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Seriously. Go Beckley Tappy. Do you want to be an official Fadernaut? Of course you do. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black. Just go to our membership section at JimmyChurchRadio.com. Introducing the new Surfer Music app. Listen, Fadernauts, you know I love my music. This is my go-to for all things notes. The Surfer app is a brand new concept in music listening. Surfer is free, providing unlimited access to thousands of live streaming radio stations. Surfer is an exciting, interactive listening experience. Discovery and surprise are built right in. Surfer is your destination to discover and rediscover great live streaming music. It features high-quality audio streams, free access to music from thousands of live streaming radio stations, unlimited listening, unlimited skipping. You get a music visualizer, and you can also select your favorite channels. Get it at the Apple App Store or Google Play. Just search Surfer Music or click on the Surfer banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com. Go Backley Tappy.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA. KGRARadio.com.
If you have hard water, the lime scale not only leaves white spots, it clogs pipes and breaks down appliances, costing you hundreds of dollars in energy and wear. Eliminate lime scale and other water issues like brown staining and bad odors with HydroCare water products, available from Wave Home Solutions. Wave's affordable water systems don't use salts or chemicals. You'll love the way your water tastes, smells, and looks. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
Are you intrigued by paranormal talk radio? You'll love the new paranormal radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the paranormal radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the paranormal radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back. Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Billy Carson is here. It's our final installment. It's been a great month of Mondays with Billy discussing the Emeral Tablets of Thoth and his new book, The Compendium of the Emeral Tablets, which I have here. And as you can see, I'm reading it. And tonight we're discussing the Fractal Holographic Universe. And Billy, I want to take the time now. We're going to open up the phone lines, everybody, at the top of the hour. I just tweeted that out. Make your question good to Billy, and you got to make it good. We'll send you out a free autographed copy of the Compendium of the Emeral Tablets. Now, Billy, I wanted to discuss the tablet 15, which is the supplemental tablet, and that tablet. Well, I want your interpretation of it, but when I read it, I get a lot of universe and astral projection type of connection and information out of tablet 15. What's your take on tablet 15?
Yeah, tablet 15, this is where Thoth is really talking about breaking out of the human avatar body and using and traveling the universe through consciousness and in his light being, in his Ba. And through this, he's able to travel and even going through portals, which is really amazing. So it's a way that he describes that he's been able to also obtain or maintain this immortality as well through spiritual energy. So it's a real amazing thing. And he's talking about astral projection 36,000 years ago, estimated 36,000 years ago. I mean, it's just incredible. He's also talking about the Akashic records in there. There's one verse where he says, in the physical, are these channels. The blood which moves in vortical motion, reacting on the heart to continue its beating. Magnetism, which moves through the nerve paths, carrier of energies to all cells and tissues. Akasha, which flows through the channels, subtle yet physical, completing the channels. So he's talking about the Akasha energy, which then takes, I believe, the information that it gathers energetically and stores it in the Akashic records. Also, he's talking about how the avatar body is affected by these energies and motions and consciousness as well. I mean, the guy is just, he's an absolute genius. And in here, I believe that it really talks about how Earth is a kind of a prison planet as well, whereby I'll just read it. On Earth, man is in bondage, bound by space and time to the Earth plane. Encircling each planet, a wave of vibration binds him to his plane of unfoldment. Yet within man is the key to releasement. Within man may freedom be found. This is an important verse right here, because now he's saying in this particular chapter that, on this particular verse, in this tablet, that every man on their planet, now we're talking about multiple planets with multiple people, the way that he's referencing this here, but on Earth, for example, where there's a frequency or vibration that's binding us to this planet, kind of like we're in a prison planet in a way, which is why I put a picture of the Earth with a chain around it in this book, The Companion with the Emeral Tablets. But he's saying that that's not our fate. We can release ourselves from this through elevated consciousness. And that's where he then begins to talk about releasing the self from the body, rise to the outermost bounds of your earth plane, speak ye the world, Dore Lila. Dore Lila is this phrase that when you speak it the right way, creates a frequency and a vibration that can help release you from your physical body, your avatar body, and allow you to travel into the astral realm. And ironically, this Dore Lila, if you start looking in other records, it seems to be, I think, his great-great-grandmother's name was Dore Lila, which is really truly has esoteric meaning. It's really a vibration. So it's really amazing what he's talking about here, using frequencies and vibration to unlock us from this third dimension physical plane.
Yeah, there's there's two other paragraphs that I want to reference here, and then somebody just posted something on Twitter I want to get back to and ask you about. It's pretty cool. Ye, to the highest worlds may we pass. That's a very interesting line right there. See your own possible heights of unfoldment. Know all earthly futures of soul. Very interesting. And he continues, bound are we in your body, but by the power ye may be free. This is the secret whereby bondage shall be replaced by freedom for thee. And listening to that, okay, two things come to mind with the 15th tablet. One is that it is the closest to being biblical, right? Than the rest of the tablets. It feels very biblical to me, right?
Absolutely.
There's that part of it, and then the second part of it, especially as he's giving you words to say, that there is information here that's never been revealed before, and anybody can access it, but you need to be careful with it.
Right, very careful with it, and the elites know about this. And they use this information to keep control over us and this entire planet. This is the information they've been using to keep the veil over our eyes. They actually have used this. So, just as we can use this to seek the light and gain spiritual enlightenment and higher levels of consciousness and so forth, on love and everything else, they have used it to create darkness. And there's a verse in the Emeral Tablets where Thoth is talking and he says, speak I of Atlantis, speak of the days of the kingdom of shadows. speaking of the coming of the children of the shadows. Out of the great deep were they called by the wisdom of earthmen, called for the purpose of gaining great power. Far in the past, before Atlantis existed, men there were who delved into darkness using dark magic, calling up beings from the great deep below us. Forth they came, they into this cycle. Formless were they of another vibration, existing unseen by the children of earthmen. Now, when you look at what I just said there, and look into, because it kind of relates to what we're talking about now, look into the current day where we're talking about this Bilderberg group and these people that go to these elites that go to these seances and these private meetings at these
ceremonies
clubs or whatever. These ceremonies where they're talking to owls and they're recanting all this information, and they're simulating murders and eating babies and all this crazy stuff that they do, and all these sexual things that they do, so and so forth. It's all related to this, what Dolph is talking about. They're using these dark magics to bring forth these other entities from other dimensions. Because when you say formless, they were of another vibration, that means they're from another universe or another dimension, and they're bringing these entities into our dimension with these incantations and so forth, so they can utilize them to gain great power.
Right.
Which is what he was talking about. So there's so much in here, man. You can see that how we've allowed ourselves to be under control of these elites. It's everything that's going on right now on this planet can be figured out through these tablets.
Bob just posted on Twitter. He says, my son just asked me, and I'm going to quote here, is my soul a fractal? Because it goes on forever. Dad, ask Jimmy Church, he'll know. Okay, so that's the tweet. Man. Well, I don't know the answer to that, but Billy, what have you got for Bob's son?
Man, Bob's son is a genius. I'm going to tell you that right now. Because that is absolutely 1,000% correct. Because why? There is only one consciousness, in my personal opinion, and many other experts believe that now as well. People, are really into this information, believe this, and a lot of the ancient sages and teachers also believe that as well. There's only one consciousness. However, consciousness has literally broken itself up and divided itself into trillions and trillions of entities to experience itself subjectively from many different perspectives. So in actuality, I'm a fractal of the main source consciousness. You are a fractal of main source consciousness. That child is a fractal of main source. All of our souls are fractals of one consciousness, all experiencing itself subjectively from different perspectives, even as a blade of grass, even as the microphone that you yourself, Jimmy, are talking into and I'm talking into, the atoms in that are all part of this mass consciousness that's experiencing life in the third dimension from many, many, many different perspectives. So we are truly, our soul is truly a fractal of one main conscious entity.
How far, if that is the case, how far through space and time does that go? Okay, I mean it like this. You and I are here. Apparently, we have stopped, at least temporarily. But if it goes on indefinitely in a fractal situation, how does it stop? How far does it go? Us, our soul, our energy.
It's amazing. I mean, truthfully, it can go on through infinity. And I say that because one of the reasons why, well, let me go back. Quantum theoretical physicist Michio Kaku and many others, which you've interviewed Michio Kaku before, I believe, have come to the realization that we're living in a universe that's got at least 11 dimensions, or it would collapse in on itself. And one of the things that appears to be consistent through all dimensions is gravity. And it would explain why in the third dimension, gravity is one of the weakest forces, because it actually leaks through multiple dimensions. So gravity is not just in the third, it's in the fourth, fifth, sixth, all the way up. So it's very possible, because of as above, so below, when you take that concept again, because you have to, because that's the way our universe is built. Everything in the microcosm is in the macrocosm, and vice versa. You begin to realize that it's very possible that it works the same way with that. So it's very possible that, all this stuff is interlinked, and whatever you see on the biggest scale can be found on the smallest scale.
I was listening to Leonard Susskind last night, and he's somebody that I just absolutely love, and I cannot get enough of his fantastic mind. And he, so staying on the fractal Fibonacci expansion of everything, right? Continuous. He was talking in this presentation about the old concept of the universe was that we would expand, gravity would take over, suck it back in. We would, go back into nothing to zero. Big Bang happens again, rinse and repeat, and the universe is always just in this process. But that now today, that's not generally what is accepted. In that now that dark energy is here, and that is forcing at an exponential rate, the universe is expanding. Back to the fractal idea here, in that it is speeding up. It's speeding up the expansion, and that it's not going to collapse on itself. It will expand in infinite. And that's
Correct.
Exactly what we are talking about, isn't it?
Absolutely. This is why we'll never discover or find the edge of the universe. It's expanding far more faster than we can ever discover the edge. So there is no edge. And what people have to realize is this dark matter, this dark energy, just because we're using the term dark doesn't mean that it's really dark. It's a form of light. This is a light matrix powered by this light energy. Dark energy and dark matter, meaning something that we can't physically see with the human eye, but that exists in a different spectrum of light in the electromagnetic spectrum. It's electromagnetic energies that are out there that are powering this universe and driving it and expanding it at a rapid rate. Just like we call the back side of the moon the dark side of the moon, just because we physically, from this Earth's perspective, can't see it because the moon and Earth are in a geostationary lock, and it spins and rotates on its axis at the same speed that we're rotating on ours, so we can only see one side of the moon. But there's a back side to that moon that does see light because it rotates on its own axis, so it does get sunlight and it does get darkness. But our perspective, we only see one side, so we call it the dark side. But there truly is no dark matter or dark energy. We just call it that because we physically can't observe it with our eyes, but it's there, and we know it's there scientifically. And it's the driving force of the entire universe, expanding it on throughout infinity.
Yeah, the edge of the universe, anything that is out there at the farthest reaches because of the force of the dark energy is now traveling faster than the speed of light. Correct. Therefore, it disappears. It's still there. And can you imagine being on the other side in another universe with this coming at you? Right?
Oh, man.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. You wouldn't see it because it's traveling faster than the speed of light. And eventually, as galaxies are separating and moving away from each other and this dark energy is there, same thing with the Milky Way. At one point, it's far in the future, but the Milky Way will be racing away at faster than the speed of light, and nobody will see it.
Exactly. That's what happens. And we also merge with other galaxies. We're in the process now of merging with Andromeda and one other very small galaxy. So galaxies merge. We ourselves in this solar system are not from the Milky Way galaxy. It's something I talk about in my lectures all the time. Anybody here on this call who's been to my lectures, scientific peer-reviewed information that I show and present at my lectures, we are from another galaxy altogether called it's called a dwarf galaxy that actually, Sagittarius dwarf galaxy, that merged with the Milky Way and is still currently in the process of merging with the Milky Way. This is science data directly from major colleges and universities and observatories around the world. And our solar system sits directly at the point where this galaxy is being absorbed and brought into the Milky Way through gravitational forces is where we're sitting. So for billions of years, we've been in the process of merging with the Milky Way galaxy. So we ourselves are aliens of this galaxy.
This is Eddie just posted up in Twitter, and I was going to bring this up earlier, and I just brought up Leonard Susskind, and I was going to bring up Rupert Sheldrake. And his question is, does Billy have an opinion on the work of Rupert Sheldrake on the morphenic field and how it ties in the teachings of Thoth? And the thing is about Rupert went, left field on everybody about 40 years ago, suggesting that everything is connected, that everything communicates, that there's not only the possibility of telepathy, but everything down to the atomic level, everything is connected, period. Mm-hmm. And it freaked everybody out. And Rupert went right there. And I think that there's a basis to, of course, not only Rupert's work and his theories, but it goes right back to what we're talking about now with the Fractal Holographic Universe and simulation theory and the communication of others, that not only spanning the universe, but right here on this planet. What do you think about Rupert Sheldrake's work? Pretty revolutionary 40 years ago. Today, it's pretty strong.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the guy was way ahead of his time. I mean, he's visionary, really. I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of people thought he was crazy. But when you look even at the smallest scale at a human cell has everything it needs to survive inside of it. It's its own entire little universe. And next to it is another cell. So you can look at the cells in a human body or in any biological organism as a multiverse. So we have a multiverse inside of a biological organism. So then are we ourselves, living inside of a cell that's part of a multiple parts of cells that are out there, adjacent to us that are inside of a biological organism as well. And these fields that interconnect and communicate back and forth from as small as the cellular level all the way to the universal level, everything is based off of frequencies and vibration, and information is transmitted back and forth through these frequencies and vibration. Even matter itself is jingled into existence through frequency and vibration, and the communication that we have, for example, even through Wi-Fi technology, which is part of that morphogenic field, I believe, as well, is the fact that our DNA can download and upload wirelessly information to and from each other and the universe. And this has been scientifically proven now, where they've actually transmitted information directly into human DNA from a computer and back up to a computer, proving that we have the capability of receiving and downloading digital bits of information, zeros and ones, into our DNA. And the DNA is such a huge storage medium. 1 gram of human DNA can store 700 terabytes of data. That's a small amount of DNA. That's like enough to put a piece on the tip of your finger, a dot on the tip of your finger, 1 gram of DNA. Now imagine the entire human body, how much information can be stored inside of the human body. We're talking about enough information. There's enough DNA in your body to store all the information from the beginning of this universe 13.5 billion years ago, and one human body can store that information. This is incredible knowledge now, but it's all based off of these morphogenic fields and communication in between cells. It's all wireless technology. Wi-Fi that we've now developed in the modern world is not a discovery. We've only rediscovered or put into work what the human body is capable of doing itself through cells and so forth. And when you look at how nature works, how plants communicate wirelessly, it's all based off of this same field of information, how a flock of birds can fly and navigate, and there's a leader, and he sends this field of information to the others, and they follow, and they know where they're. It's just all the same stuff on different scales. And, it's really amazing, man. It's all fractals. The whole thing is based off of fractal technology, biological fractal information. And, we're just now beginning to rediscover that this is all real, but it was written in the Emeral Tablets 36,000 years ago.
Yeah, when I see groups of swarms of mackerel in the ocean, in those vortexes, and so that is not that's not instinct. That's not done by sight. Right? You know what I mean? There is something that is going on there at a telepathic level. It just has to be that way. I've got 2 minutes here before the break, and when we come back after the break, I'm going to open up the phone line, so get ready for that. And I'm going to open them up now so you can start dialing 747-228-2051. Just make your question good. That's all you got to do. Just make it a good question. David just posted here. Let me get back to his question. He says, here it is. So if we are fractals of our creators, then is life we create, clones, computer programs, fractals of us, infinite, eternal, having souls?
Great question. I believe that that's exactly what's happening. I believe that the souls, though, will be obtained through consciousness. In other words, AI technology. We can create a fractal of ourselves, but will it obtain a soul? Will it be conscious? Will the main source energy of consciousness be able to inhabit it in a way that makes it sentient? And I think that once AI technology gets into some of these software programs, it's going to allow it to be inhabited by consciousness, and thereby making it a sentient being.
I got you. Let's take a break right here, Billy. I've got calls on hold. We'll get to everybody right after this short break. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Billy Carson. When we come back, make your questions good. We're going to be giving away copies, autographed, of the Emeral Tablets. Stay right there. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. Stay with us.
Hi everybody, this is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station. Salt Lake City, Utah. Van Buren, Arkansas.
Poor water quality is a major health issue, and it's only getting worse. Municipalities can't keep up, standards have dropped, and pollutants are increasing. Where does it all end? It ends by keeping the pollutants outside of your home with HydroCare's advanced systems available at Wave Home Solutions. No less than the best purification materials and processes have been developed by HydroCare to provide you with healthy, clean water for drinking, cooking, and showering. HydroCare far surpasses the competition in removing chlorine, odors, iron, lead, chemicals, limescale, and much more. Don't settle for less when it comes to your water. We'll take care of the toughest water problems for you, whether it's from a city or well source. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, call 888-997-WAVE. That's 888-997-WAVE. Or go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
Your contact for current news and trending topics. KGRARadio.com.
Does your basement or crawl space have a damp, musty smell? Well, watch out. That's a sign of too much moisture and not enough ventilation. And that can mean increased mold growth and the buildup of harmful toxins and gases. Don't bother with a dehumidifier. It just circulates the same unhealthy air. Now there's a better way to remove these dangers and odors. It's with the computerized Wave Moisture Control Unit that reduces moisture and expels pollutants.
We replaced our old dehumidifier with the Wave unit, and in only 3 weeks, our basement is dry and the musty smell is gone.
Wave units require no maintenance, no buckets of water or filters, and costs only pennies a day to run. Breathe better, live healthier with an affordable, no-maintenance Wave unit. Call 888-717-WAVE, 888-717-WAVE, or visit dryhealthyhome.com. Dryhealthyhome.com.
Ride the Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I only drink Fade to Black blend coffee from Rivermoon. Just click on the Rivermoon coffee banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Promo code F2B Blend.
So are you tired of being tired? Well, then it's time to get the tea. Hey, it's Lisa here to tell you about this all-natural, all-organic tea I've been drinking that has had great results for over 20 years. It's called Life Change Tea, and it's specially formulated to help detoxify and cleanse your kidneys, liver, colon, and blood all at once. The colon is one of the most ignored organs in the human body. The faster that waste is eliminated from the body, the less time that waste sits in our intestines, spreading toxins to our bloodstream. This tea helps cleanse chemicals caused by outside intruders from our entire digestive system. And get this, weight loss can be a side effect. And with continued use of the tea, you can experience clearer, healthier, younger looking skin, increased energy, and a happier outlook on life. So if you're tired of being tired, get the Life Change Tea at getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. And like me, you'll be glad you did.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Great show tonight. It's our last episode in this series on the Emeral Tablets of Thoth with Billy Carson. I'm holding up the book. There it is, the compendium of the Emeral Tablets. And now I'm going to open up the phone lines, Billy. Billy, get ready. Billy. Billy. Get ready.
I'm ready.
I've got quite a few calls lined up here. So we didn't give away any books last week. So let's give away a bunch. Let's give away a bunch. All right, you down for that? And Billy's like,
I'm ready.
What'd you say, Jimmy? What? Phone's breaking up. Let's go straight to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling? You're live.
Hi there, this is Brittany Lindsay from British Columbia.
Hi, how are you?
Hello?
Yes, we got you.
Hi there.
Yes.
I'm good. How are you doing?
Say hi to Billy.
Hi, Billy.
Hey, how are you?
It's a great show tonight, guys. I wanted to ask it's speculated that a lot of false doors in Egyptian temples, as well as the Great Pyramid, can send consciousness to different dimensions. Could these places be tools to send our consciousness to the halls of Amenti?
That's a very good question. Based off of what I've read now in the Emeral Tablets and researched, it appears that the Great Pyramid at Giza is a multifunctional stone computer that has the capability of creating wireless energy, also transmitting images and video, in my opinion, throughout the region through the help of obelisks. Also, another thing I believe they are is a portal generator, and the reason why I say that is because Thoth talks about entering directly into the halls of Amenti and leaving directly from the halls of Amenti, which are underneath the Giza Plateau, kind of connecting with the Great Pyramid. The Great Pyramid is like the cap for it, and these halls have been discovered down there. I believe that based off of what I've read now and studied, that they're able to transfer consciousness into avatar bodies using this halls of Amenti area in the Giza Plateau, and then have these avatar bodies be able to what they call walk amongst men, like men but unlike men. So that's where I get now. I don't know if they're able to transfer these souls to other planets or other parts of space or anything like that, But I do know that supposedly you're able to transfer consciousness into new avatar bodies and walk amongst men. Now, if you're from another dimension or another universe, and if this Halls of Amenti is a portal or a gateway to those other areas, it's possible that you can transfer in there and transfer back out as your light being. But it's really an amazing place, and I wish I knew a lot more about it. I can only go by what I know, what I've been able to research and be able to digest and marinate on so far. But that's a great question.
Thank you, Brittany. Now, write Rita. You got yourself an autographed copy of the Emeral Tablets. So write Rita and send us your address. I've got your information right here, and we'll get the book straight out to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brittany. She's up there in British Columbia, which means there's a little delay, I guess, in the phone system. Yeah. Let's go straight back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hi, my name's Lico Simmons.
Oh, what's your name?
Lico Simmons.
Lico. L-I-K-O?
L-E-I-K-O.
L-E-I-K-O. Got it right here. Okay, Lico, what's your question for Billy? Turn me down in the background.
My question is about... sorry. So I had heard in the Law 1 that the Guardians had made the pyramids of Giza, and that like they used them to like the king and their chamber, the queen and king's chamber, and to like upgrade consciousness and to heal and to.
Okay, you need to ask that question again because you're breaking up.
I couldn't hear it.
Yeah, I can't hear it.
All right. Well, my question is, I had heard through the Law 1 that the Guardians, like the Blue Avians, had made the pyramids of Giza, and that they did it with a thought, and they made it look like it was built piece by piece, but they were the ones that made it. I was wondering how Thoth tied in with the Law of 1 and our ascension.
Okay, Billy?
Yeah. Now, the Thoth himself claims to have built the Great Pyramid at Giza, and it appears that he's the master architect of these pyramid structures. Not that he built all of them, but that he laid out the architectural plan, floor plan, for others to take on and build after he taught them the different techniques. The Blue Avians there are blue depictions of these beings in some of the hieroglyphs, but I haven't come across any material that specifically says that they built the pyramids. Now, the pyramids, according to Thoth, who's the backup, was actually the true root word for thought, as you were just saying. He talks about manifesting these bricks from thought through frequency and vibration, jingling them into existence, literally. So it's very possible that somehow that does connect with the Law of 1 and with these Blue Avians, what their ability was to create these thought patterns that would literally create this matter or mass that would be able to build a pyramid. But there isn't any specific writings that I've come across that exactly say it that way. What I could say is that one man or one entity, one being couldn't have built all of the thousands of pyramids on this planet, but that he did lay out the architectural plan for it, and his technique and technology used to create them have been passed on to others and utilized by others, maybe even some of his helpers or assistants or other beings that he may have had help him at different times. I know that he took some beings from Africa to Mesoamerica, the Olmecs, who were not Homo sapiens, and he had them help him build the entire, Mayan culture out there before the Mayans got there, all those pyramids and everything in the Yucatan and Chichen Itza and everything else. So it's possible that has something to do with it. And the fact that you use the word thought, which is the root word, Thoth is the root word for thought. So it's very possible. I just haven't seen any writing pertaining to that. But in terms of the Law of 1 material and consciousness, all that information is basically the same things that Thoth is teaching in the Emeral Tablets. How to ascend to high levels of consciousness, how to use love to get there, how to base your ability to gain levels in life on how you help and treat others, unconditional love, and all those things are all being taught by Thoth and the Emeral Tablets.
Thank you for the call, Lico. You've got a book coming to you. What city are you calling from?
McPherson, Kansas.
From Kansas. Okay, I got your information here. Just write Rita, send us your address, and we'll get that autographed copy straight out to you, man. Thank you so much.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Great phone call right there. Let's see here. Let's do this. Let's go here. Everybody just hang on. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, this is Roger, North Texas.
Hi, Roger in North Texas.
Yeah, listen, let me ask Billy while he's still there. Are the Emeral Tablets of Thoth the same as the tablets of Anunnaki Tablets of Destiny? And I'll leave that with you.
Thank you, Roger. Write Rita, and we'll get you an autographed book coming right at you. Thank you so much. Are they the same as the Sumerian tablets?
Actually, they're not. But a lot of the information inside the Emeral Tablets are in these, supposedly in these Tablets of Destiny, which are whoever obtains these Tablets of Destiny, these Sumerian Tablets of Destiny, have the capability of literally controlling the galaxy. I mean, that's how powerful they are. You can win just about every war. They had changed hands a few times according to the ancient records. They were stolen a couple times and then reclaimed by other Anunnaki relatives of each other. And they use these to literally battle each other, which is just crazy. They really were a warring race, which, as you can see, a fractal right there, can't you? We're a warring race as well. But the Emeral Tablets are something a little different than the Tablets of Destiny. Some of the information in the Emeral Tablets made its way in there, I believe, but the Emeral Tablets is not the Tablets of Destiny. It's a great question, though.
Thank you so much for that. And let's go back to the phones. And that was Roger from Texas. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, Jimmy, it's Rob.
Hey, Rob.
Hey, I have a question for Billy. Has to do with talking about traveling through angles and curves. I understand that the curvature of space and all that stuff, but wasn't exactly sure what he meant by angles.
Well, basically, according to theoretical physicists, all dimensions are directly on top of us. In other words, in this universe right now, according to Michio Kaku and other physicists, we have 11 dimensions, and each dimension is not that far away. It's like one Planck unit above us in a 90-degree angle. So Thoth talks about this in the Emeral Tablets. It's crazy. I mean, we're talking about quantum physics and quantum mechanics 36,000 years ago, and he talks about if you break through these angles and access other dimensions, you can get lost if you don't know what you're doing. It's dangerous to stake to the curvature of space-time, and you'll be able to find your way. It's really only for the elite of the elite or the master of masters to be able to travel through the angles. It's not for the average person. It takes a lot of training and understanding and wisdom to do that, but that you can get lost in different dimensions. So that's what he's talking about, the curves. He's basically saying take the curves and not the angles. The angles will take you directly into other dimensions of space-time. If you can phase shift your atomic frequency or your light being, your Ba, you would transfer into other levels of other dimensions, literally, and you may not be able to find your way back.
Rob, where are you calling from?
Baltimore.
You're calling from Baltimore, right, Rita? And send us your address. I've got your information right here, and you've got yourself an autographed copy of the Emeral Tablets. Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you. Another great. See, that's what I love about this audience, Billy. Right there.
Yeah.
Phone calls like that, and let's stay on it. We've turn me down in the background. I can already tell.
Is that me?
Yeah. Who's calling?
Kevin from Eugene, Oregon.
Hi, Kevin from Eugene, Oregon. Say hi to Billy.
Hey, Hi, Billy. Jimmy and Billy, you guys are just on fire tonight, man. It's been such a great series. I really want to thank you for that, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
I just wanted to tell you, Billy, I had a reaction to something that you had said. I wanted to share with you, and then I had a quick question. Your comment on considering the cell as a multi-universe took me instantly back to when I was 10 years old in 1972. I'm sitting around the house with a buddy of mine who was 15 years old. He was raised a reluctant Catholic, and my parents raised our family Protestants. And so on this particular day, I was questioning my older friend, what he thought about God and all that stuff. And I knew he was from a different religion, so I was kind of quizzing him on it. And his response to me was, I don't know, Kevin. I asked him, what do you think about God? He says, I don't know. It's like, well, what if the whole universe we live in is in the hind leg of a honeybee? And I thought, whoa, what? And I just couldn't even process it, at 10 years old. And then one thing that gave me pause is when that guy hit his 30s, he was diagnosed as schizophrenic. And I just thought, what was he knowing at 15 years old to make a comment like that I couldn't even process? And I just thought that was so weird. It just took me back in time when I heard you talking about the cell as a possible multiverse and stuff like that. But that was an interesting experience just listening to you, and I'm really excited about that. And I wanted to also ask you my question, which is, what isn't a fractal? I mean, I've done some little bit of studying on fractals. It seems like you could pretty much call everything a fractal.
Yeah, that's accurate. That's an accurate statement. If you go to the Field Museum in Chicago, which I've gone to directly, and I've taken photos in there, and some of the posted content that I've written about fractals is pictures of me at the actual museum in the fractal the area where they're displaying all the information about fractals, and they've got computers set up and screens set up, and it literally shows you how everything in this entire third dimension is based off of fractals. Everything from mountains, trees, rivers, the human body, economic systems. If you look at the pattern of wars on the planet, I mean, everything you could think of literally is based off of fractals, and that's because of the same thing that Thoth again talks about, as above, so below, talked about this 36,000 years ago, and you can't escape it. It's everywhere. It's everywhere you look, you're going to find that same exact hermetic principle. It just applies to virtually every single thing, and everything is based on fractals, and it's really amazing. The creators of this realm use that mathematical code to allow us to have the appearance or the illusion of, I guess, randomness. But in truth, there really is no randomness to the experiences in this third dimension. It's really amazing.
Yeah, I just love that subject so much, and to see that it, really just is relevant to just about every particle in the universe. No, every particle in the universe is just amazing. You'd think there would be some scientific. I mean, are there any scientific studies and advancements that are being augmented by the understanding of fractals?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's where we get all of our 3D movies now. They're all based off of fractals. All these movies, Pixar revolutionized it. Revolutionized it now. So all of our 3D movies are based off of fractals. A lot of the video games are based on fractals. All of our virtual reality experiences with the new virtual reality that's going out now, it's all based off of fractals. So all this stuff is all based off of fractals now, and it's really going big. I mean, it's going to be included in terms of technology-wise, in visual technology. It's going to be included in just about everything, and it's a way for us to really replicate reality. I'm pretty sure that in some way they're going to find a way to use self-immersed virtual realities, kind of like you would see on Star Trek soon, where you're in a holodeck, and that's going to be all based off of fractals. So technology is really gaining up to what we call science fiction is becoming science reality.
Kevin, thank you for the phone call. And Right Rita, I've got your information right here. Right Rita, send us your address and we'll get you out an autographed copy of the compendium of the Emeral Tablets.
Oh, thanks a lot. I will recommend it too. Thank you.
Yeah,
thanks, Billy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Have a great night. And let's see here. Man, this is great. I love giving away books. It's so much fun. Let's continue. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, this is Lamar.
This is who?
How y'all doing? It's Lamar.
Lamar, how are you, man?
I'm all right. How you doing, Jimmy? Hey, Billy?
Great.
Everything's good, Lamar. Where are you calling from?
Hey, calling from Florida.
All right.
Clearwater.
Right on.
Yes, sir. So I have a question for y'all. I love y'all show, by the way, man. I listen every night. So I have a question here. It comes with parallel universes. You know, I don't know if it had anything to do with multiverses, but when it comes to parallel universes, do the tablets say anything about them? And if we can sync with them, and would that be called like deja vu?
That's a great question, Lamar. Talks about this in the Emeral Tablets. Parallel universes are other dimensions where basically a duplicate copy of everything exists, and anything that can happen will happen. And it goes back to something which is a real scientific term called quantum walking. And if you look up quantum walking, which we kind of glazed over last week, I believe, you discover that basically there's a way to walk into different dimensions. Now, on a subatomic level, it's been proven in quantum physics and quantum mechanics, but I really do believe that there are parallel universes with doppelgangers of yourself in them that are vibrating at specific frequencies. And Thoth talks about people or beings being in other realms or other realities at different frequencies. And if you can match the frequency of your parallel universe, you can step or walk right into it. That's science reality if you had the capability of doing that. And I truly do believe that there's a version of me that's not on this call, that's maybe at a beach somewhere in the South Pacific. Sounds great. And there's a version of me that obviously is on this call. So there's two of me, at least there, but there could be trillions of me in parallel universes, all doing something different at this exact specific moment. And if one of those doppelgangers of me happens to be on a specific frequency at the same exact time that I'm vibrating in a specific frequency, there's even a possibility that we can cross paths and I can walk into their reality and that other copy of me can walk into this reality. So it's the universe is weird. It's really a very strange place, and pretty much it really is true when you say anything that can happen will happen. It's really a true statement. That's a great question.
Thank you for that, man. That enlightened me a lot today. I really appreciate that, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Lamar. And just write Rita right now. I've got your information right here. Write Rita, send us your address, and we'll get you out an autographed copy of the Emeral Tablets. And thank you so much, Lamar. Have a great night.
All right, you too. Thanks a lot. Good evening, y'all.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. What a great month on the air, Billy.
Yeah, man, I really appreciate it. This was fantastic, and your listeners are fantastic, man. They are very sharp people on the ball.
Well, see, the thing is, watching not only Skype tonight, but the amount of email that I've got in the comments, is that everybody was considering this a lesson. This is like going to school. And they were here, they were taking the notes, and they're learning, and that's the thing. That's what they're here for, and I thoroughly, absolutely enjoyed this last month, and I know that you've got some really, really, really exciting stuff that is about to break out. We'll discuss this on a later show, but is some of this stuff? Are you prepared to talk about it?
I could talk a little bit on it right now. I can't expose all of it yet, but I can let your listeners know and the world know that First Class Space Agency is not only it's been formed since 2014, but it's locked and dialed in right now We are in the process of obtaining a very significant amount of funding. We're talking in the multi-millions, and we're going to be going forward with the creation of several prototypes of devices that we had talked about in the past, which are, the pursuit of perpetual motion and zero-point energy devices, as well as propulsion systems based off of different types of propulsion. So it's going forward full steam ahead, and I'm really excited about it. Have a very big meeting in a couple of weeks to sign some of the final documents and move forward. And I'm really looking forward to coming back on the show and putting out the information. I'm really looking forward to getting that international press release that's going to go out. And it's very possible that I could be the next Tesla. I mean, it sounds a lot, but I'm just telling you, at least Elon, I could be the next Elon Musk in terms of a technology company. So it's pretty exciting stuff, and I'm looking forward to giving some more breaking news in the upcoming weeks and coming back and really letting the people know once everything has been able to made public.
Man, it's such exciting news, and I can't wait for that. And we'll be seeing you at not only Contact in the Desert next month, if you can believe it. We're at the middle of April. I hope you got your taxes done. We're at the middle of April. Next month is Contact in the Desert, and then right after that, of course, is our very own Soul Tech, and you'll be presenting there again this year. And it's been very cool seeing you integrate into our community, man, and the way that people look up to you and are constantly turning to you for information. It's very exciting for us.
Oh, man, it's been so great. And they really just accepted me, brought me in as a brother, as a family member. And I really appreciate it, man. One of the best things about the conscious community, we have our own little issues and problems here and there with people. They're, maybe not have the clearest agendas. But overall, the conscious community really does embrace people of all walks of life, all races of life, in a very great way, in a very good way, a very positive way. And it feels so good to be a part of something that just allows me to be me, who I am, and not have to worry about, color of skin and all this other crazy stuff. I can just be me and do what I do and be the student and the teacher that I want to be. And everybody embraces it, and we all feed off of each other and learn from each other. It's just an amazing thing. I mean, I'm really happy to be a part of it. And I thank your Fader Knots and your listeners so much for just taking me in and just treat me as one of their own.
Thank you so much, Billy, and be safe out there. Thank you for writing the book. The book is great, and we'll be seeing you next month at Contact in the Desert. Thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you, man. Thanks for writing the foreword for the book as well.
Oh, no, man, I still can't believe. Anyway, thank you for letting me write the foreword to the book. Billy Carson, safe travels, and we'll see you next month right here in California.
All right, man. See you later. Have a safe time.
Billy Carson. And now the book is simple to get. All you got to do is go to forbiddenknowledge.com. You can click on the links at jimmychurchradio.com. Everything is right there. 1 straight month of Billy Carson and the Emeral Tablets, and it has been absolutely wonderful. The links to the book are also right there in the video description. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church, and I'll continue with your phone calls right after the break.
Hey, what up, y'all? It's your girl Vivica Fox here, and you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
Hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. This year we've experienced more than our fair share. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and last month I decided to make sure my family does not have to worry about food should we get caught in a real emergency situation. Introducing Numana, a healthy, storable product that tastes so good that you'll want to eat it every day instead of just during those times of duress. All Numana products have a 25-year shelf life, are MSG and GMO-free, no preservatives, and are made in America. With the Numana pack in your home, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you've protected your family. Not only have I tasted and tested, I own it. Now you can too. Just click on the Numana banner on JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code Jimmy when you order. In addition to a discount, we'll send you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Seriously, go Beckley Teppy. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I take Life Change Tea supplements every single day. It's what I do. Click on their banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roasted to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hi, folks. CBD is the home run hitter for health right now. Why, you ask? Because of what it does for the body. Unfortunately, I can't tell you all about the benefit. You know, there's reasons. Do your due diligence and log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. Ancient Life Oil uses organic ingredients and is blended in coconut oil for some of the best benefits. Legal in 50 states and non-psychoactive. Log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and my family is safe because of Numana Emergency Food Storage. Just go to the Numana banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com. Promo code Jimmy10.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Billy Carson, one straight month of the Emeral Tablets. Great show tonight. And I just got to say congratulations to Brittany, Lico, Roger, Rob, Kevin, and Lamar. You all got yourself autographed copies of the Emeral Tablets. Don't forget to write Rita and get us your addresses, and we'll get everything straight out to you. And I've opened up the phone line, 747-228-2051. Open lines for this last segment, and let's go straight to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hi, my name's Ashley.
Hi, Ashley. How are you?
I'm doing great.
What's on your mind?
I wanted to ask you, you mentioned in the first segment about the conflict in Egypt and the tablets being transported to Mexico and the Temple of the Sun.
Mm-hmm.
I was curious as to if you thought that that conflict may have also been the reason that Egyptian-like artifacts were discovered in the Grand Canyon by the explorer Kincaid supposedly in 1909.
Right. Yeah, also Australia as well.
Oh, I hadn't heard about Australia.
Yeah. Hieroglyphics in Australia. And the whole, what's weird, the short answer is yes, Ashley. The short answer is yes. The flip side is the Kincaid story about finding the cave and the artifacts there and the Smithsonian showing up and collecting everything. And the original news accounts were pretty detailed, right? And completely squashed after that. And, it's always the Smithsonian being involved, too, as well.
Exactly.
And the future explorations trying to locate that cave have been thwarted, too, as well. And you would think that, today, Ashley, with drones, wouldn't you, forget about being on a boat, but what about taking a drone with a 4K camera or drones and just scouring all over, forget the government, forget everything else, go do it on our own, right? And go and see if we can find where the location of this cave is, and maybe that there is something left, at least that there's proof that the cave actually existed, which I do believe that it did. When you go and read that article, or articles that came out in 1909, it seems like that was a real event.
I completely agree. And as an Arizona resident, I would love to try to find it, even though it's technically illegal to go into caves in the Grand Canyon.
That's right.
But just to find it would be amazing. And I do know there was at least one attempt with a drone. He spoke at Contact in the Desert last year, and I cannot think of his name right now. He actually lives in the town next to the town that I grew up in.
I think you're talking about Holloway.
No, he's a Hopi elder from the Sedona area.
Yeah, but he was part of the expedition. Holloway was running the. Man, I'm. You know what? I just said too much. But yes, he was running the drones. There was about 10. Okay. There was about 10 people in that expedition going out and trying to find the cave.
Yeah, and then they ended up having battery issues with their drone. Like it lost half the battery in like 2 minutes, even though it was fully charged before that. And
yeah, I hope I didn't.
They experienced all sorts of interesting issues.
I hope I just didn't get somebody in trouble, and I can't believe I let that slip out. But yes, the answer is yes. And I think that's they had the right idea. And I
agree.
And I think that we should continue doing that. So, Ashley, thank you for the phone call.
Absolutely, thank you.
Absolutely great phone call. Thank you so much. We need to go and do just that. We need to go down. I think it's just massive. Drones. You don't need a boat. You don't need backpacks. You don't need to do any of that. Just go and run some drones and get up in there. That's what I think. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, Jimmy. This is Andrew from Olympia.
Hi, Andrew. How are you, man?
I'm doing great, man. How about yourself? I know the answer is yes.
Absolutely.
Anyway.
Absolutely. What's on your mind, Andrew?
Hey, I was hoping to catch Billy. I think I might have missed him though, right?
Yeah, he's gone.
Okay, no worries. Anyway, I got a question for you then, mister.
What's that?
So I need you to tell me about your most memorable moments with Ronnie James Dio.
My most memorable moment with Ronnie James Dio. Okay.
Yeah.
Man, I've got 50. I'll tell you. Okay. No, you know what? How's this? You really want? Okay. You want something personal, something really cool?
Definitely, yeah.
He comes up to me and said, "Man, it's time for dinner. What do you want to eat?" And I said, Thai food. And he goes, "You like Thai? I love Thai. All right, we're having Thai. How cool is that?" And the food, we ordered out, takeout, and I sat and ate Thai food with Ronnie James. So how cool is that? I mean, to have him ask, right? To have him ask is a pretty cool thing. So there you go. There you go.
Imagine.
Okay, I've got a million, but there's one. There you go. Have a great night. Have a great night, Andrew.
Hey, you too, Jimmy. Take care.
Thank you, man. That's a legit question. You know what? That's a legit question right there. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Jimmy, Randy down here.
Hey, Randy, what's on your mind, man?
Listen, I am in such envy of your position. One of the things I have to say is you must have a massive retention rate to do these shows every single night. I have been riveted on all 4 weeks of this, and I wasn't able to ask Billy this, and please pass it on to him. I have been that kind of at a uncomfortable position with quantum mechanics since I stuck my nose down the scalar theory hole, Jimmy. And I've mentioned this to you about a year ago. I think I made the comment of, once someone delves into the scalar theory and its logic, you have to leave quantum at the door. And I think what I wanted to ask Billy is that a fact? Because in quantum is always describing what caused that to happen. In scalar, when he started talking about the Sims game, as I study scalar, we all are what's called, in scalar theory, referred to as an activity space, that are locked scalar waves that have a program in them, or a task that has a beginning and end, i.e. a tree that has a point, it's seedling, and then it goes through the seasons and then dies. That was in its locked scalar wave. Now, the thing that causes these to happen is focused intent. In the beginning, 2 weeks ago, Billy said the very first things out of y'all's discussion was, in the beginning there was thought, or the word. That is a frequency. That was the first pure seen or sheen frequency to the Google power, pure frequency. The splinters thereof, if you study these tests of the split theory of the only way to see a subatomic, what we call a particle in scalar, it's not a particle, but the focused intent, where attention goes, energy flows. Other what we call nowadays subatomic particles come to that point of focus, which means your intent of focus is causing the firmament of the universe to respond to your prayer or your thought. Now, if you stay in continuous thought or prayer about a specific target, then that wavelengths of locked scalar wavelengths will start aggregating in that particular point, and then the collection or aggregation comes to be so intense that it appears to be a dot, or what we're now calling a particle, which is actually a massive amount of focused intent aggregated to render into the third dimension at some point in the time the hammer that we have in our hand. That's a long discussion to get there. But the simplicity of all of this is that we are all doing this. And the reason that I study scalar is that scalar is more logical, in that we wouldn't even be here if our activity space, though, when you mentioned earlier, you mean all these people on the street are a sim? Well, in fact, they are sims, but they're their own individual universe within themselves, and each one of us in our locked scalar task program has allowed certain ones in to interact with us that have similar paths or a quest that we're on in this long journey that we have to become, at the end of this journey, a light being. Now, my friends here in East Texas hear me talk about becoming a light being at the end of the journey. Well, that's the only logical way that this could happen. And is that at the end of this experience that we're having now, and we go through that tunnel again, we're going to gravitate toward the tendency of what we had here. We're in learning school now, and we're creating, when we leave this portal and go through another one, I guess you could call it a birth canal the next time, but when we spring out, what we have been creating here in this experience now will be the point that we pick back up on the next journey out. Now, that's just one little aspect of this deal called Scalar, Jimmy, and maybe I can pull you off to the side and we can stare at, look for UFOs and stuff at this conscious thing happening next month, because I'm going to be coming and visiting a lot of folks, because there's things that we need to do. Billy is the kind of person, and you have talked to so many people, that when this thing that I've been talking to you and read about for a long time, when it becomes mature and we have 5 million people that are just sitting here listening, and we go, Billy needs this next week, and then a nickel from everybody would put Billy. When we finally all entangle and understand the dynamic of what we're going through, I think that we can all do it, but it has to be through education. But Jimmy, thank you so much, and Rita and everybody out there that has the interest enough to understand what's taking place. Once we understand, we can just recreate from the inside out, and these challenges that we're having, this roadblock that we hit, will dissolve from the inside out. And that's my quest. And Jimmy, you're a major part of it, and I'll see it this conquest in the desert, a consciousness in the desert.
Safe travels, Randy. We'll see you in about 30 days.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you, Randy. Behave.
Bye. Bye.
Ramblin' Randy out there in Texas, gonna come out to Contact in the Desert. How cool is that? Let's stay on the phones here. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hi, this is David.
Hi, David. Where are you calling from?
Michigan.
What part of Michigan, David?
Lower Michigan, right up near the Indiana border.
Like Niles, Michigan?
Yeah, that's about 15 miles to the west of me.
How did I know that? I mean, how many radio shows, how many radio hosts, David, can you call up and he will drop Niles, Michigan on you?
No, I was not expecting that at all.
I could tell, and I loved every second of it. Niles, Michigan. I used to love driving through Niles. Anyway, I digress. There are people out there right now listening. They're Googling Niles, right?
Oh, wow.
They are, because it doesn't even sound real, does it? Niles, Michigan. And but you always knew when you're driving out of Indiana into Michigan, right? You hit Niles, and you knew that you crossed the state line.
Yep.
So
there was the line.
There you go. David, what's on your mind, man?
I was wondering, Mr. Carson, now if you had the mathematics of Thoth, do you think that should be released now?
Oh, you know what? I want you to, because I think okay, ask the question again. No, I know the question. The question was, do you think we should release the mathematics? If we had it, should we release it? But ask the question again.
Well, I was going to say, do you think the matrix of Thoth is what I was going to say, but do you think the mathematics of Thoth should be released now?
Yeah, see, and isn't that an interesting question? I wanted you to say it again. It's of course, right? Of course, that when things like this start to break out, and when you think of the science fiction of, the 1950s, the 1960s, right, the 1970s, ray guns and parallel worlds and time travel and, traveling to Mars, right, and you know what I mean? All of this is science fact today. Think about where we are today, right? But back in the 50s and they poo-pooed all of that. They made fun of it. They, you know what I mean? And now today, it's all part of science fact. And
I always wanted my flying car. We never got it.
Well, you know what? And think, what's weird. I talk about the flying cars a lot, and now with drone technology, and I said this like 3 years ago. Take the drone and just make it bigger, and we've got our flying car. Forget about everything. What are they doing today, right? What do they do?
They are. They are making stuff like that.
They certainly are. But if the revelations and the mathematics and the matrix ideas and the astral out of body stuff that Thoth talks about in the Emeral Tablets, it'll get shot down. We've got to fight for it. Eventually it's going to be science fact. Right?
Well, I know a lot of what you were talking about. I had to turn off a while because I was live streaming on my phone, so I went on hold for a while, so I missed a lot of what you were saying. But everything I was hearing before that, I could relate to. I know exactly. I could have been saying, "Oh yeah, I know what that is." And
well, do you have the book?
No, I don't.
Do you
want some easy math type stuff, Tesla, that your listeners can even understand?
Well, do you want the book?
Oh, absolutely.
Then email Rita. Email Rita and send us your address. I'll send you an autographed copy. How's that?
Okay.
Take care of it, David. Don't play around. Get it done, okay? I'll send you a book.
All right. Okay, thank you.
Have a great night.
You too.
See, that's all you got to do. Just make your call smart. That's all you got to do. Make it smart, like David, right there. Well, all the calls are smart, but you know what I'm saying. I know he needs the book. It's really that simple. David, you got the book. Email Rita, and we'll get one right out to you. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, Jimmy. It's Mike from Vegas.
Hey, Mike from Vegas. How are you, man?
I'm great, thanks. How are you?
Come on, man. You know how I am.
I know. So I want to make a real fast comment, and then I want to ask you a hard question. The guest was talking about like multiple realities and stuff, and it always freaked me out because like reality is splitting and splitting and splitting and splitting, and the number just, I couldn't wrap my mind around it. Like, it's just too many realities. I can't get it. And this is just as I was driving home, and all of a sudden I thought, well, okay, we kind of think about, we don't understand it, but we think about infinity in time and the universe and stuff. So if I think about multiple realities and multiple universes in that context of infinity, now all of a sudden, even though I don't understand infinity, it still fits.
Right.
So that was just the thing that just came to me, because I always had a problem with like all these multiple realities, but if there is infinity, then I'm like, okay, I'm good with that now.
I know you wanted to ask me a question. But
I do, yeah.
Wrap your mind around this. At the beginning of the universe, everything was close to itself. Okay? Electrons, photons, gases, things were created, atoms and things turned into things at a very small scale, but they hit each other. They were able to make contact, and all of the interaction went down. Okay? Galaxies, stars, planets, right? Things were created. But now today, and from here forward, the odds of things going down that hasn't already started, I'm talking about fresh interactions, right? As the universe expands, those particles are out flying in a direction, and they'll never hit anything. Okay? That's it. The interaction phase is over. And so that infinity part that we're talking about, as the universe expands, and it's just that as it heads out, space is huge. So all of those photons and particles and things and dust, whatever, will not make contact with something else. So it will just be infinity into nothingness. Doesn't that feel weird? It doesn't sit right, does it?
Well, it does. No, it does feel weird, but it seems like nothingness and infinity are kind of close cousins.
They are close cousins. And if you think about, our galaxy, it's being held together by, gravity. Okay, that's fine. It's going to swirl and stuff. But eventually, our galaxy, with the expansion of the universe, is going to be alone. Alone. That's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy, and then eventually
it's a little crazy. And now this is one where I agree with you almost all the time, and this is not one where I'm disagreeing. I'm just thinking this is like getting beyond our capacity to understand.
I know.
What the next level is.
I know, and check this out. Okay, I'll leave you. Then I'm going to let you ask your question. Eventually, all stars will die. Eventually, everything will go dark.
Which obviously begs the question, and then what?
That's my point. That's my point. Hopefully we'll have infinite energy on starships, and we'll just cruise the blackness. Right?
No, I've heard your story about that, about mining stars and stuff. So I know that goes.
Okay, Mike, what's your question?
I want to ask my question. Okay, so I know your philosophy about trying to tune into positive things, but it's hard to escape the disturbing news and where this planet is going and where corporations are going and all this. And this is sort of maybe a David Icke-ish type question or whatever, but it feels very much like there's a race to the finish line between the Jimmy Church enlightened people and the bad people that just want to just subjugate everything. Do you have a sense that there is a race to the finish line between those two forces, and B, who's going to win?
Well, okay. My take is, and it will never change, I have flowers hanging out of my pockets. And I know that eventually something is going to reveal itself. I'm talking about the sensational, the science fiction, the paranormal, the supernatural. Something will happen. I don't know what's going to happen first, but when it does, and we're very close to, this whole parallel world thing, but when it does, everything will, the dominoes will just fall because everything is related and connected. And that's my take. The race to it, I don't know if there's necessarily a race. I really don't. I think that things will reveal themselves on their own in a very natural way, organic way, and I'm going to be right there. And I think it's going to be positive in the end. And that's it. That's my take.
It's really funny you said that, because I don't know if you remember, I called you about 3 weeks ago, and it was like the story about 8-year-old Mike and the universe being connected. And so, yeah, everything is connected. And
well, Mike, I've got to run credits in 5, 4, 3, 2. So I'm going to say have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, Jerry. I love you. Bye.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. It's a great phone call right there. And with that, right up to the bloody end, another Fader night. Thank you, Billy Carson. 4 straight weeks of Billy and the Emeral Tablets. I want to thank everybody that called in tonight and tweeted and emailed. Got to thank Billy Carson coming in strong. The book is called The Compendium of the Emeral Tablets. Fade to Black's executive producer is Rita Camarion. Shows produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee, Dennis, and Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vitoa, Mark D. Kovart. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy, spaceboymusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, and syndication is KGRA, The Planet. This broadcast owned and copyrighted 2019 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tomorrow night, right here Our Human Origins with Bruce R. Fenton with the little human hybrids thrown in. Until then, I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Everybody be safe. Go Beckley Tappy.